And next on Weather Underground, could we see our first named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season as early as this weekend? We have the very latest for you next on Invest 90L. It's an area of concern off the coast of Florida, now being given a high chance by the National Hurricane Center of becoming either tropical or subtropical storm Arthur. And for Florida, the Bahamas, and along the entire East Coast, we're going to break down for you what to expect from heavy rain to rough surf to rip currents and show you where this system could end up next week.
Hurricane Hunter flights are scheduled to investigate this developing system tomorrow. We're going to talk with a 34-year veteran of these critical missions and about the important information those forecasters get from them. Also, the obvious dangers that come from flying into these powerful storms. Plus, we are tracking multiple areas threatened by damaging storms right now. We'll give you the timing for severe weather stretching from Texas into the Northeast and where a tornado warnings are currently in effect. And concern also increasing for potentially life-threatening flash flooding. We'll pinpoint who's at risk into the weekend next on Weather Underground.
And hi everyone, welcome in. You are watching Weather Underground. It is a Friday evening, so glad you could be with us. I'm Mike Bettis.
And I'm Alex Wilson. Mike, I've missed you this week. I'm so glad you're back.
Good to see you. We get one day together, and then we get the weekend. I feel like it's perfect.
Yeah, that is, because I'm like your favorite person to work with, and then you get your favorite thing a weekend.
Totally.
I'm only going to take that complimentary.
I get my fix of Alex, and then I'm good.
All right, Deal. We've got a lot of weather to cover for you guys. We are tracking storms from truly border to border. We're talking the U.S.-Canada border all the way down to the U.S.-Mexico border. Problems across the southern plains already, and in the Northeast, an area of concern for tornadoes. And, of course, our hurricane expert, former director of the National Hurricane Center, Dr. Rick Knabb, is here to break down Invest 90L. Dr. Knabb.
Yeah, Alex, it's still a surface trough, very disorganized, not producing a ton of wind and rain, but it's still got a very high chance of becoming a tropical or a hybrid storm in the next day or two as it moves northeastward. So this is the development area over the next 2 days. Beyond 2 days, it's going to be northeast of there. So this is in the next couple of days where it'll be near the northwestern Bahamas and then moving northeastward. We know we're going to get a big low. We just don't know if it's going to become tropical or subtropical along the way. Here is where the surface trough is in this general area. We've been getting some locally heavy rains in South Florida today, but it's still got a lot of baking to do as it moves in this direction. So what does that mean for Florida for the rest of the weekend, and how close could this come to North Carolina? And then beyond that, how long will it hang around? So, Mike, Alex, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. And it gets complicated, Alex, as we get beyond Sunday.
Oh, absolutely. Very, very complicated. Now I want to get you to the severe side of things. Show you where we've got a tornado watch currently in effect into parts of New York, northeast Pennsylvania, portions of southern New Hampshire and Vermont, and a good chunk of the state of Massachusetts. This does not, however, include the city of Boston. And up there in northeast Pennsylvania, Scranton not included. Now, Syracuse included. We've seen some of the worst weather moving to the east of Syracuse. That includes our tornado-warned storms. Right now on the north side of 790. So we're looking at areas on the northeast side of Utica. Fulton, Hamilton, and Herkimer counties are under this warning. We've got Arietta, Caroga, and Stratford in the path of this storm. There's our area of rotation. So this would be the area that we would be looking at. Reds moving away from the radar, greens moving towards the radar. So a fairly broad area of rotation, not really looking at a tight couplet, but still possibility is there for a tornado. Also, some very, very gusty winds likely with this storm. Now, where is it headed? 5:20 for the community of Stratford, then Arietta at 5:47 local time. If you're in either one of these communities, lowest level, most interior room where you need to be. A lot of trees in this area, so unfortunately, we could see some trees going down. We've got lightning moving through the Syracuse area. Again, the worst of the weather has moved east of Onondaga County, but still dealing with a few thunderstorms there around I-81, I-90, 390 as well. We take a look at what's happening up into northwest PA. We've got some thunderstorms right around Bradford, very close, kind of skirting the state line between Pennsylvania and New York. Moderate to heavy downpours from Erie to Ashtabula. So not a great night to be out there on the roads on I-90. It's a problem, and that continues all the way down to the Cleveland area. We've seen a few thunderstorms that way, but for the most part, things are staying sub-severe as we look at western New York, Pennsylvania, and into northeast Ohio. As we move forward in time, watching these strong storms work through parts of, say, the Capital District of New York into southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire, and portions of Massachusetts. Think they'll weaken as they approach the Boston area, but I do think we could see some very strong winds. Maybe less of a tornado risk, but the wind threat will be there for the city of Boston as we head into the late evening, Mike.
Yeah, not the only place we're watching for severe weather. You're also watching the plains for us this evening, and some places could get some pretty significant hail, some heavy rain, and the possibility of some flooding out the skies that were lit up in Severy, Kansas. Check this out. Impressive, right? Look at all that lightning. This all captured in Kansas last night, and guess what? We could have a repeat performance this evening, probably a little bit farther south now across Oklahoma and portions of Texas. So let's walk you through that forecast, starting with this severe thunderstorm watch. Does include West Texas, St. Angelo, we're included in that, near Lubbock, up toward Childress, then just south of Oklahoma City and right along the Red River Valley here. These are areas where hen egg size hail, 2-inch in diameter, is possible, and thunderstorms that could produce outflow or downburst winds here of 80 miles an hour. You can see how the storms are flaring up now. Numerous severe thunderstorm warnings right now, right down along the border of Brewster County under a severe thunderstorm warning until 4:30. Big cluster of thunderstorms there, and flooding a big issue for us as well. You can see how these storms are over La Mesa right now. Ector County under a severe thunderstorm warning and a flash flood warning. Anywhere along I-20 or north of I-20 in this vicinity, heavy downpours, 2 to 3 inches per hour. Large hail, that's the hail tracker for you right now, and winds. So it's a triple threat for us this evening, unfortunately. Head up toward Lubbock. Right now, not too bad. There's a chance some of those storms could get very close to us in Lubbock. Garza and Linn County right now south of Lubbock under a severe thunderstorm warning. Again, all of those may contain some very large hail. Then how about this clusters of storms here riding along a weak boundary here just between Oklahoma City and Ardmore here. Numerous areas where flooding is going to be a concern for you, so I think that flash flooding could go on for a couple of hours here. Some places where upwards of 3 to 5 inches has already fallen, and more could come with these storms. So through the evening, a very big threat between Lawton and Oklahoma City, severe thunderstorm warnings and flash flood warnings. Our severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, goes until 4:30. So a lot of concerns across the plains, and I think increasing, Alex, through the evening is a flash flood threat. So a lot of things to keep our eye on here, especially across Oklahoma and West Texas.
Yeah, you bet. And then in Florida, we've been talking about the brush fire danger. It remains high with high winds, low humidity. Now, those strong winds help to spark at least 2 small spot fires in the Golden Gate Estates neighborhood. Right now, the fire has burned through more than 8,500 acres, including homes and businesses.
We've lost a total of almost 8 vehicles, 6 company trucks, over 4 quads, 2 boats, 4 trailers, probably close to $60,000 worth of just vehicles, not counting the tools. Everything that was built since 94 or so, since we lived here, has to be rebuilt.
The fire remains at just 10% contained, but some good news today. Alligator Alley has reopened to drivers. Hot and dry in southwest Florida, but the Keys have been soaked. These storms all thanks to our tropical disturbance 90L, our invest. Marathon, Florida, just crushed its previous daily rainfall record. They picked up 5.35 inches in a single day. That made it the second wettest May day ever on record. And we've also learned the stormy conditions in South Florida have led to a temporary shutdown of COVID-19 testing centers in Miami-Dade County. So let's get you a look at where the showers are right now associated with our Invest 90L. And you can see some of those heavier showers located just offshore of Miami. So looking out over the ocean, maybe catching a few flashes of lightning. We've also got some storms over on the west side of Florida, so a little more action on the south side of the Tampa area. There is Invest 90L with winds at 30 miles an hour, pressure 1,011 millibars. This is moving off towards the north and east. And Dr. Knabb, we expect this to bring impacts to especially the Bahamas, but also Florida.
Yeah, and maybe some to North Carolina, but I don't think any of them are going to be super high-end or direct, but you will notice them. And let's talk about what we've got right now. We don't have a tropical depression or storm or subtropical depression or storm. We do have a trough of low pressure right in here. It's starting to become more of a broad, closed low. Look at the isobars on there. You can see low pressure kind of centered here, but the trough extends off this way. So it's kind of elongated, very messy, most of the weather off to the north and the east. But you can see the clouds coming out of the Caribbean. So it's getting to be a more substantial low pressure center. But the Keys have cleared out a bit today. And again, most of the storms have been over southern Florida and over the portions of the Bahamas, although a lot of them are happening over the open waters here southeast of Florida. Earlier today, we had some locally heavy rain in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, but the flood advisories for those areas have, for the time being, been discontinued. But we got some thunderstorms offshore. We've had a little bit of rain down Alligator Alley and going up to Fort Pierce and Sarasota. Now, the totals so far, over 2 inches down near Miami, over an inch in Fort Lauderdale, not a whole lot over in Naples, but, any rain has been welcomed here. And if we look at how much more rain we're going to get between now and Sunday, not a whole lot more. I think we've had our big show so far, maybe an inch or two on the east coast of Florida, but you see most of that heavy rain is going to be offshore in the Bahamas, whether you look at the European or the GFS. In the meantime, we've got that strong onshore flow and the waves being kicked up, so high risk of rip currents today, and that will extend northward. We got moderate risk up into South Carolina. I would stay out of the water in South Carolina and North Carolina as the weekend goes by. It's got some water temperatures in the 70s to allow it to have some fuel, but here is the non-tropical hybrid part. See, in the water vapor, we've got this big upper level low kind of right overhead, bringing a lot of dry air in there and a lot of wind shear. So let's look at the model depiction of that. The colors are the low level spin. Solid lines are kind of the steering, gives you an idea which way it's going to go. And the dashed lines are kind of the shearing, the upper level winds. You can see that upper level trough right overhead. As this moves off to the northeast tomorrow morning and into the day on Saturday, low level spin looks like it will be increasing, and maybe that's by the time it gets to be a hybrid storm, but you're still going to have a lot of wind shear, and it will move slowly Sunday. And then into Monday, it gets interesting and complicated, Mike, because here comes this big system into the Midwest and Northeast that our invest might tangle with. Either way, we got some messy weather ahead in the Northeast.
Oh, no question about it. It is going to be UGLY for a lot of folks here, maybe all the way through next week, unfortunately. So let's break down what's going to happen for you in places like Washington, D.C., in places like Philadelphia, where today it felt like the middle of summer, right? Some of our warmest temperatures of the season so far, mid to upper 80s, a little bit more humidity today. You felt the sunshine, bask in that. That's right, soak up the vitamin D, because you're not going to get a whole lot of it here over the course of the next week or so. A lot of different factors in play here for us, unfortunately. And what that means is we've got a pattern where a jet stream is going to start to undulate here. It's going to team up with some surface lows. Next thing you know, you're stuck in a rut. Unfortunately, that means you're going to be stuck in the clouds. You're likely to be stuck in a little bit cooler temperatures. And then you're likely to be stuck in a relatively wet pattern as well, as you're going to continue to pull in moisture off the Atlantic just in various forms. And sometimes it'll be windy to come along with it. Some of it could depend also on what our tropical or subtropical system could do there off the East Coast. There's a look at Monday's forecast. We're going to fast forward through the weekend, bring you Monday's forecast. It's wet all across the eastern United States, staying wet mid-Atlantic into the Northeast going into Tuesday, maybe even some embedded thunderstorms with that. And then we're going to the middle of next week. Still some showers hanging around for us here with a pesky system that just wants to park itself near the coast or maybe just off the coast here. So D.C., Philly, Hampton Roads area, these are all places where it could get wet. And then Thursday, here we go again. Could it go even farther than that? Yes, it could, Dr. Nava. You look at what the models are doing, with the tropical system, with our upper level patterns in North America. It's complex, and it could just stay downright cloudy and rainy for the better part of a week, if not longer. Yeah, and for our current invest, there's a little bit of a fork in the road. Does it get involved in that Northeast system, or does it get shunted out into the ocean away? But watch how this plays out over the weekend. Here's the low pressure coming out of the Bahamas Sunday into Monday. Okay, now let's pick it up here on Monday, where we've got the developing northeast mess, and here's the low pressure associated with our tropical or subtropical system, and they kind of get close to one another, but then pick it up after that.
our low that was maybe Arthur by that time gets pushed out to sea, and then our big northeast mess kind of takes over. But even with this departing, look at that onshore flow into the mid-Atlantic and northeast. So even if our tropical or subtropical system isn't directly involved, this mess is going to bring a lot of moisture all the way out of the tropics into the mid-Atlantic and northeast. Look at the GFS. It is a little different. Watch how when we get to Sunday and Monday, this is a lot more of a direct path toward North Carolina. I don't think it's anything they can't handle, but could be rainier and windier with our subtropical or tropical system, and then it just kind of gets directly absorbed into this broader northeast system. But either way, by next week, it's the same result. Onshore flow, some coastal issues, and some heavy rain getting into places like Pennsylvania. All the way into next Wednesday and Thursday, this broad low sits around and also could drag a front back through Florida. So Florida could still be eventually involved in this. So look at the rainfall totals from the European model. Very heavy in the coastal areas, in the big cities like Philadelphia and New York City, but also central Pennsylvania, portions of New York getting some heavy rain. The GFS model really just paints the picture of Pennsylvania being the bullseye, but I think either way, we've got significant coastal issues and significant risk of flooding, Alex. No matter what the tropical or subtropical system does, this northeast mess is going to be a big water problem next week.
Yeah, so everybody in that part of the country needs to watch that forecast with a careful eye. Well, the hurricane hunters are scheduled to fly into Invest 90L tomorrow. Coming up on our show, we're going to talk to a retired hurricane hunter about what it's like to fly these dangerous missions.
You may not see them, but your itchy eyes know they're out there. Thousands of allergens in each cubic yard of air. No wonder you rub your eyes hundreds of times a day. But now, relief is just one drop away. Introducing Pataday. Full prescription strength Pataday works right in your eyes, right on the cells that make them itch. Fast. Just one drop once a day means relief that lasts all day. So turn your day into a Pataday. Now get Pataday without a prescription. Everywhere.
ProPlan Live Clear, a breakthrough, 10 years in the making, that reduces allergens in cat hair and dander. Outstanding nutrition with the power to change lives. This is Purina ProPlan Live Clear.
At Domino's, we think you and your oven could use a break. Ours are running at 450 degrees, and your pizza stays untouched from here to your table. Use contactless carryout to get 3-topping pizzas on any of Domino's 5 crusts for just $7.99 each.
Just because someone grows older, does that mean they have to grow apart from their friends or from the things they love to do? With Right at Home, it doesn't. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to help with personal care, housekeeping, meals, and most of all, staying engaged in life.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you ready to go?
Oh, I sure am.
We can provide the right care right at home.
Pop a little fun and pop a whole lot of deliciousness. Lay's Poppables are crispy, tasty, and full of perfectly poppable flavor. If you like to mix it up, we got you covered. There are 5 delicious flavors to brighten your world. Lay's Poppables. Taste the poppabilities.
Every day, millions of people looking for healthy skin reach for Cetaphil, recommended by dermatologists. Awarded by Allure, and most of all, loved by skin. Cetaphil, the cleanser sensitive skin loves.
This is not a time for business as usual. Or is it? What if business as usual means putting people first and understanding their needs? If that's your business 365 days of every year, then business as usual is precisely what these times require. Which is why your Lexus dealer will do what we've always done. Put you first. Find out how we can service your individual needs at lexus.com/people first.
Do these moves look familiar? Then you might have a condition called dry mouth. Biotene is clinically proven to soothe and moisturize a dry mouth, plus it freshens breath. Biotene, immediate and long-lasting dry mouth symptom relief.
Introducing Plaza Auto Mall's pickup and drop-off service for your vehicle. Oil change, alignment, new tires, or a brake job. Schedule us online or on the phone. We'll pick up your car and drop it off when it's done. We are here for all your service needs. Plaza Auto Mall, Notion Avenue, Brooklyn.
You won't stop blocking your auto shop.
Feed a healthy lifestyle with Pure Protein.
High protein, low sugar, tastes great.
High protein, low sugar, so good.
High protein, low sugar, birthday cake.
Pure Protein, the best combination to help you stay fit.
I'm freaking out. I can't stop thinking about using.
There's a voice in my head says I'm better off dead.
I thought I had it all under control.
It's time to get clean or die. Don't suffer alone. Call Addiction Hope and Helpline.
Call 800-437-8017.
Everything is almost cloud-free at this point.
Plus, it's not cold at all.
We're drying out and even warming up.
We love it that way.
Better days start with the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 84 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms early, then variable clouds overnight with showers. Low 63, chance of rain 60%. Saturday, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 76. Winds north at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday night, partly cloudy skies. Low 55. Winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
That's some wind. Whoa.
That is Muskogee, Oklahoma, and that is a torrential downpour. Just sheets of rain coming down. You can see that the tree is almost flexing when it gets hit by some of those really big sheets of rain. Big wind, too. You hear the person behind the camera saying, we've seen a lot of active weather into parts of Oklahoma. That continues through the remainder of today. Right now, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning. This one likely bringing those huge downpours. I want you to also notice that this is paired with a flash flood warning because these storms aren't moving very much. So even where we don't have the severe warning to the east of this warning, we've got flash flood warnings. Big time rainfall, and it's not moving quickly, so you can expect those rainfall totals to continue to rise and that water to pile up. But here, it's Comanche, Grady, and Stevens County under the severe thunderstorm warning. We watch for the gusty winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. Also, the possibility of some hail. Now, across parts of Texas, we've got a smorgasbord of warnings. Each and every one of these storms, pretty much, with the exception of one, warned upon, and a lot of these also in combination with a flash flood warning because of their extremely slow movement. So we look on both sides of Midland. You can see all the storms bringing hail. So hail will be a big threat with our severe weather moving between Lubbock and Midland this afternoon. Mike, we talk about the flood threat just from these storms, and that continues this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. There'll be numerous areas where we're going to see flooding, and then places that have already flooded, including a place like Beaumont. This is a city that is very prone to flooding, and did you see what happened there? We had record-setting rainfall there, and look at southeast Texas. I mean, you're making wakes. Look at the car dealership here that is underwater. Some places saw more than 8 inches of rain, knee-deep there in the parking lot, if not deeper, right? Up to the wheel wells. That's crazy, right? Now we take you farther north into Independence, Kansas, and check this out. Our storm tracker, by the way, Charles Peak, over a creek here, sent the drone up so you can kind of get a scope of what the water was doing there. But creeks and streams are already bank full. If we see more rain, could they just be pushed out of their banks once again and threaten structures? Let's talk a little bit more about that with Dr. Nab, because it looks like slow-moving, heavy rainfall-producing thunderstorms are in the works for us here for the next couple of days, Dr. Nab.
And, Mike, it's for a lot of people in a lot of states and a lot of big cities and some rural areas. May is really flood season for a big part of the country historically. Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, even up into Ohio, we've got issues right now. Look at all these different clusters of thunderstorms. It's just all over the place here in the middle of the country, and it's all because the Gulf of Mexico is serving up the moisture in big portions. See all that instability. Now let's look at all these flood warnings in southeast Kansas because of the earlier rains, but now we've got some new flash flood warnings here in Oklahoma. Just only can give you a few of them because they're all over the place. Here down in Lawton and Rush Springs, a warning goes till 5:30 local time. Look at that vicious lightning. That's dangerous, but also shows you how high the rain rates are. It's just really unstable. Now, just west of Fort Smith, Arkansas, in Sallisaw, Oklahoma, we've got a warning till 5:15 local time. And then from McAllister eastward, a warning. And we've had many issues on the roads. Flash flooding, multiple streets closed in Warner, Sallisaw. We've got vehicles stranded, many reports of water-covered roads in McAllister. So big problems there in Oklahoma. And we've had over 5 inches of rain locally just west of Fort Smith. Now, back to southeast Texas. It's not Beaumont and Orange today. It's the Houston-Galveston area. Flash flood warning there in the southeast side of Houston, including Pasadena, where it's still coming down. Look at downtown Houston about to get rocked. Deer Park there, just near Pasadena. Vehicles are stranded at Spencer Highway and Beltway 8. Stay off the roads, folks. Down in League City, we got a warning there till 5:45 local time. And even Houston area westward to Katie's under an advisory till 5 Central time. And can't leave out Cleveland, Ohio. That's under a flash flood warning until 10:15 local time. Didn't even get to the forecast, Mike, because there's so much going on now. But here's a preview of what's about to come back to Dallas and Houston overnight tonight into tomorrow. The middle of the country is going to be lit up all weekend.
It really is. I'll take the baton from there, Dr. Nab, and get people through this because we really want to pay attention to what the thunderstorms are going to do and the amount of rain they're going to pump out here. There's our undulating jet stream here, but underneath that is where we're really going to pump in the moisture off the Gulf of Mexico. You're going to feel it. Boy, the humidity off the charts now, but also instability because now we'll get some daytime heating with a higher sun angle. In now mid-May, we're going to really heat up the surface. The atmosphere is going to want to bubble up and rise, and so when you do that, you can really build tall thunderstorms here, and those are the ones that can produce the heaviest rain showers. You can see how it extends up I-35, Houston, say all the way through Kansas City, then edging its way up toward maybe a Milwaukee and a Chicago. This is the area tomorrow. It does include coastal Texas for severe weather. So this evening we're getting it in Houston. We'll probably get another round that comes in overnight tonight. Then the atmosphere reloads for tomorrow. So over the course of maybe the next 24 hours, we could get 3 different rounds of thunderstorms in the Houston area, and it is one of the most flood-prone cities in all of America. Fast forward into Sunday, shifted just a little bit farther eastbound now, and then the severe weather goes a little bit farther north, including across maybe Paducah, Evansville, Fort Wayne, Detroit, and Cleveland could all be on guard as well. By the way, you take a look at how much rain we have even in the Midwest, some place like Chicago, 3.5 inches, and now more rain is on the way. Stick with us. We talk tropics next.
Capital One knows life doesn't update you about your credit card. So meet Eno, the Capital One assistant that looks out for charges that might surprise you and helps you fix them. What's in your wallet?
At Marco's, get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Get the ultimate comfort food, cooked at over 450 degrees, with the comfort of knowing it's served contact-free. Order at marcos.com for contact-free delivery or carryout.
I have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now there's Skyrizi.
Things are getting clearer. Yeah, I feel free. So bare my skin, yeah, that's all me. Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is everything.
Keep your skin clearer with Skyrizi. 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. Of those, nearly 9 out of 10 sustained it through 1 year. And Skyrizi is 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
I see nothing in a different way. And it's my moment, so I just gotta say.
Skyrizi may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or coughs, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Ask your dermatologist about Skyrizi.
For every staircase supporting a grand entrance, door frames marking milestones, and floors kissed by bare feet. Protect the pure joy of home with Terminix. We're committed to keeping termites out of your home with our all-new On Guard termite protection system. Always backed by the Terminix promise to keep your home strong enough for all the love it holds. Call 1-800-TERMINIX today.
If you have moderate to severe psoriasis, little things can become your big moment. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not a cream. It's a pill that treats plaque psoriasis differently. With Otezla, 75% clear skin is achievable. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. It may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about your medicines and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla, show more of you.
While most of the world is being asked to stay inside, there are people out there giving it their all. So, to everyone who is helping keep us safe against COVID-19 day in and day out, all of us at Amgen say, thank you.
Scotch Delicate Surface Painter's Tape has gentle adhesive for projects that require a little extra care. So, for surfaces like wood cabinets, be certain you have the right painter's tape to conquer the job. The best paint jobs start with Scotch.
Tomorrow, a once-in-a-lifetime all-star lineup of laughs. Billy Crystal, Whoopi Goldberg, Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Hart, Howie Mandel, Kenan Thompson, and more of America's funniest comedians for the Feeding America Comedy Festival.
Join us for a night of comedy to help raise money for communities in need across America, just like you do every season with us here at the Weather Channel.
Byron Allen presents the Feeding America Comedy Festival. Tomorrow at 6/5 Central, here on the Weather Channel, and streaming on Local Now.
And good Friday evening, everyone. You're watching Weather Underground on the Weather Channel. I'm meteorologist Mike Bettis alongside Alex Wilson. You know, a lot of people slowly getting back into their normal routines. Alex, it's a Friday night, so they're thinking, okay, here comes the weekend. I am ready to unwind and get outside and enjoy. For some, it could be a rough weekend.
Yeah, they're, pouring their drink. They're about to head outside. But hold up. If you live in some parts of the country, can't do it. Like a Cleveland, Mike. Cleveland, are you in there? Cleveland? Cleveland?
No response from Cleveland.
It is a rough evening there in Cleveland, Ohio. We've got rain, we've got storms, and unfortunately, we've got too much rain. A flash flood warning currently in effect for areas surrounding Cleveland as well as Cleveland itself. So Cleveland, Lorain, Parma, we're talking about Cleveland and the suburbs all under this flash flood warning. Heavy rain still falling over a lot of these communities. We look at the rainfall, the radar estimated rainfall just over the last hour, and plenty of locations in that 1 to 2 inch range, or at least approaching a solid inch in an hour. We've been saturated, and this does not bode well, especially when you get into areas like Cleveland. A lot of pavement, a lot of concrete, so that water doesn't get absorbed. Instead, it just kind of runs off and heads to those low spots. We've been watching the stronger thunderstorms now moving into parts of the southern tier of New York, also getting into the Hudson Valley around Albany, the Capital District. We've got some thunderstorms. Let's take a look. We've got this first warning off to the east of Binghamton. It's Broome, Chenango, and Delaware counties under this warning until 6 o'clock local time. I want you to watch for and prepare for some gusty, damaging winds that could easily take down trees. Deposit, you're up next at 5:31, then Tompkins 5:43. So we're talking about areas right around that split between 81 and 88. Walton at 5:51. Andes beyond the warning at 20 past the hour. So we'll be watching even areas beyond that to see if that warning's extended. Fulton, Hamilton, Saratoga counties here on the west side of Saratoga Springs. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning. Also beginning to see that backward C shape. That would be indicative of some strong gusty winds that are accompanying this storm. And I really think that's going to be the greatest concern moving forward. Gloversville, really, it's in your area and headed towards Northampton shortly. So these are moving very quickly, Mike. And I would anticipate to see reports of downed trees and perhaps some localized power outages. So may not be a bad idea to just know where that flashlight is.
Yeah, and we might see that across the southern plains as well. Very active storminess there as well. So a lot of different areas, say like a Houston, where it is really ugly for you right now. We're also going to be worried about some flooding for you. 73 degrees right now, and just an absolute downpour for us, especially south and west side of town tonight. And then we could get another round of storms that comes in for us overnight as well. Fort Bend and Harris counties right now are under that flash flood warning until 6:30 this evening. That's going to head out toward the Katy Freeway. We've got quite a bit of heavy rain westbound there. You can see some pockets, League City, then over towards, say, a Rosenberg. These are areas where at least 3 inches of rain has fallen in just the last 3 hours. And those storms are not moving all that much, and so you're getting to maximize the rainfall out of these storms right now. And you can see not only is it coastal Texas, it's back through West Texas, it's up through Oklahoma as well. A lot of different concerns here across the southern plains. Intense storms with heavy downpours and flash flooding concern for us right along the river here, so right along the Canadian border. Brewster County, we're under a flash flood warning. Then we head farther north, getting closer towards, say, a Midland, just north maybe of I-20 here and toward Lubbock. Look at these heavy rain producing storms. We've got Dawson, Howard, Martin counties under a severe thunderstorm warning. It's going to be just outside of Midland. That's until 5:30. Could see 2-inch diameter hail here. Look at the hail cores. Every single storm has a hail core with it, so that could cause damage to the roof of your home. That could cause damage to your vehicle. Make sure you park it under cover, not to mention huge downpours out of these. So some localized flash flooding is very possible. Any dry arroyos could be filling up for us here. And up toward Lynn County, now edging closer to Lubbock, we have a severe thunderstorm warning here. Up into Oklahoma, look at these storms. They're barely moving here along a weak boundary. And notice these storms between, say, Ardmore and Oklahoma City over toward McAllister. All these areas get absolutely annihilated with heavy rain right now. Grady and Stevens County under a severe thunderstorm warning here. And just about every single one of these severe thunderstorm warnings is accompanied by a flash flood warning. So we're really getting hit hard tonight in numerous areas across Oklahoma and Texas this evening. Watch these storms push their way through overnight tonight. We'll get some stabilization of the atmosphere overnight tonight. Some, not a ton, but I think you turn it more into a heavy rain event than you will maybe a hail or a wind event, Alex. So be ready for these storms overnight tonight to produce some flash flooding. A lot of different areas will be targets tonight.
Yeah, so if you are somebody that does need to go to work in the morning, keep that in mind. Some of those usual roadways may not be accessible. Well, coming up on the show, we're going to talk to Team Rubicon about how they're helping hurricane victims in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic.
Hey, Boston. Hey, Atlanta. Hola, Miami.
Local Now is here for you.
Hi, New York. Hey, LA. Chicago.
To get you through life's new normal.
Hey, America.
Trust me, you're going to love this. Come on.
2 tablespoons of sugar.
But kind of near average on.
This is the place to be.
Something for everyone. Local Now. Download for free in your favorite app store.
Thanks for sharing your DIY haircuts. Thanks for sharing your savage moves, and especially your awkward ones. Thanks for sharing your cute kids and your adorable pets. Now it's our turn to share with the Geico Give Back, a 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies for both current and new customers. And because we're committed for the long haul, the credit lasts your full policy term. So thanks again. One good share deserves another.
With Dish, you get the Hopper, TV's most powerful DVR. It lets you record up to 16 shows at once. Huh? Why so many?
See you in the morning.
Okay,
bye,
sounds
Mom.
great. Come here.
Because we know more shows can help you make the most of the perfect girls' night in.
Record up to 16 shows at once. Dish. Tuned in to you.
Oh, it's a beautiful day. Oh, I never felt this way before. Give us some more.
Outsmarting a nasty Nessie with Duluth Flex Dry on the Fly pants. Step 1, locate the legend. Step 2, flex them. And unwet them. Duluth Flex Dry on the Fly pants. Make your legs legendary. Only at DuluthTrading.com.
These days, it's anything but business as usual. That's why working together is more important than ever. AT&T is committed to keeping you connected so you can keep your patients cared for, your customers served, your students inspired, and your employees closer than ever. Our network is resilient. Our people are strong. Our job is to keep your business connected. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do.
Super Emma just about sleeps in her cave, but when we realized she was battling sensitive skin, we switched to new Tide Plus Downy Free. It's gentle on her skin and dermatologist recommended. New Tide Pods Plus Downy Free. Safe for sensitive skin with eczema and psoriasis.
Oh, this is gonna hit town!
Inside the storm, every second counts. Deadline to Disaster, Sunday nights, only on the Weather Channel.
Well, the video and the pictures after a weather disaster are sometimes jaw-dropping. And in the Weather Channel's new hit series, Deadline to Disaster, we see how everything unfolds in real time with never-before-seen footage. On a new episode this Sunday, we relive the day Hurricane Dorian slammed into the Bahamas.
185-mile-per-hour hurricane right now, absolutely lashing the Bahamas.
Never seen a Category 5 make landfall in this part of the Bahamas.
This could be really, really bad for a lot of people.
Say to yourself, if it gets any worse than this, then this whole structure can collapse.
Everyone, please pray for us, please.
Uh-oh, out the window.
The hurricane was in the house.
It was definitely get out. This was not a place to stay. We had no idea how high up it was going to go.
Oh my God.
I just needed to get my family and I to safety.
There it is. It's a blue sky Cat 5i.
Well, that is an all-new Deadline to Disaster this Sunday night, 9/8 Central. Mike, this is a must-watch. Some of that video we've never even seen.
Yeah, it's all kind of behind the scenes and a timeline, hour by hour, of how a disaster unfolds, and that was an epic disaster, Category 5. Looking forward to that. What we may not be looking forward to is what could happen off the coast of Florida, maybe along the coast of Florida. We take you to Port St. Lucie because we're talking tropics tonight. We've got Invest 90L out there. Could cause us some very rainy, breezy weather, maybe some coastal issues. Our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Knabb, with us again tonight to outline what's happening here. Dr. Knabb, how do you see this playing out through the weekend?
Well, what is not yet a tropical depression or storm or a hybrid is likely to turn from the surface trough that it is now into a low pressure center over the northwest Bahamas, unfortunately, and then probably become Arthur, tropical or hybrid, this weekend northeast of the Bahamas, and then move northeastward from there. We have already had some rain in Florida. We might have a little bit more, but I think most of the impacts are going to be northwest Bahamas and over the water. This is going to develop likely within the next day or two. We're going to have a low pressure system. It's just whether or not we get the tropical or the hybrid system, 80% chance of that. They didn't fly the hurricane hunters today, but they've got them on the hook for tomorrow if they need the data. Here's what it looks like right now. If you put on the isobars, you can see we don't have a really low pressure, a big center. We've got a trough aligned around here, maybe a low in the Florida Straits, and the moisture is kind of looping around that. It's a lopsided system. We do have occasional locally heavy rains. We've had some urban flooding issues in Fort Lauderdale, Miami today. Keys have gotten a break today comparatively. Still have some scattered light to moderate rains, but no flood advisories or warnings in effect. Another inch or two might happen in portions of South Florida, but most of it will happen over the Bahamas. But the other water problem, of course, is going to be on the north side of that system, the onshore flow. We got a high risk of rip currents on the east coast of Florida. I would take that into tomorrow, and that threat will extend northeastward from there. But it's still a very non-tropical system, this hybrid kind of look with that water vapor imagery showing how lopsided this is going to be, Mike. But still could have some issues in the northwest Bahamas where I would love for them to just have good weather for years to come during the recovery. Forever, right? Dr. Knabb, thank you for that, and stick around. We've got a great interview coming up here in just a sec. But we know that this week on the Weather Channel, we have been helping you to stay focused and prepared for you and your family and your community for the Atlantic hurricane season just 17 days away. But some communities, we know, they are still on that road to recovery. Dr. Knabb had mentioned it, the Bahamas. But one group that's helping out is Team Rubicon. It's an amazing organization made up of military veterans that respond after natural disasters to help
help out communities. They've been on the ground in the Bahamas since Dorian struck 8 months ago. Art De La Cruz is the Chief Operating Officer. He joins us now on Weather Underground. Art, thanks so much for being with us. We know it's been such a tough, slow process in the Bahamas. What has it been like for Team Rubicon and for the Bahamian people?
Yeah, I think, the disaster that you just talked about, it begins in August, it really tells a story of a long recovery. For us, it started in, late August with emergency medical teams going there to deliver aid. And then we went into, the slow process of rebuilding. Started first with, debris removal, Sawyer work, heavy equipment. So a long, long road to recovery is kind of the story that we're seeing across the Bahamas. Disasters like this leave a mark, and it takes a long time for the people to recover.
Art, very quickly, how can veterans who aren't involved with your organization yet, or even maybe some non-veterans, how can they get involved to help out?
For everyone who's interested in helping, we're obviously responding across the country and continue to respond around the world. We have 210 operations domestically, and we could use your help. Just go to www.teamrubiconusa.org. We'd love to have you help us, help communities prepare, respond, and recover after natural disasters and humanitarian crises.
Well, Art, we wish we could talk to you for longer. We could talk all night long. We truly could. You've got such an amazing organization. Thanks for talking with us this evening. Let's head over to Alex right now, talk a little bit more about severe weather.
Yeah, we've got a tornado warning into the state of New York. Radar indicated rotation here in central Delaware County. This storm moving about 50 miles an hour to the east. So, again, they have been fast movers. Colchester, Delhi, and Walton are some of the areas in the path of this one. And we're looking at a general line of thunderstorms bringing with it some strong winds. But where we've got that little kink in the line, that's where we could see some of those, or that area of rotation. So right there on the northeast side of Walton, you get a little bit of a notch in the line watching this area, but even throughout that zone, be prepared for strong winds.
It's best we stay apart for a bit, but that doesn't mean you're in this alone. We're automatically refunding our customers a portion of their personal auto premiums. We're also offering flexible payment options for those who have been financially affected by the crisis. We look forward to returning to something that feels a little closer to life as we knew it. But until then, you can see how we're here to help at libertymutual.com/COVID-19.
If only there was a place nearby you could get one of these. Or these. Good thing they're sold literally everywhere business is done. I'm pretty sure you could buy them at a bank. Not sorry, Reese's.
Our Hillshire Farm craftsmen start the day slow roasting turkey for incredible flavor. Then they double seal every slice for freshness. The results? Well, they speak for themselves.
You may not see them, but your itchy eyes know they're out there. Thousands of allergens in each cubic yard of air. No wonder you rub your eyes hundreds of times a day. But now, relief is just one drop away. Introducing Pataday. Full prescription strength Pataday works right in your eyes, right on the cells that make them itch. Fast. Just one drop once a day means relief that lasts all day. So turn your day into a Pataday. Now get Pataday without a prescription. Everywhere.
Buick and GMC are here to help, to keep you going through these unprecedented times. If you need a vehicle, we're offering 0% financing for up to 84 months. Plus, you may have the option to shop online and take delivery at home with Shop, Click, Drive. If you need service, our certified technicians are ready to help. You can even schedule your appointment online. Together, we'll get through these uncertain times. Buick and GMC, we're here to help.
Every home has have-to-dos and probably some want-to-dos. The Home Depot can help you do both. We have the things you need to make things work a little better, make things a little more comfortable, maybe take care of something you've been meaning to do for a while. And we have the low prices to make it all doable. Order online and get free delivery on over 1 million items. Whatever you need to do or would like to do, we'll help you get it done. The Home Depot, how doers get more?
Real people are realizing there's a better way to mobile.
My carrier probably has a lot of fees I don't even know are there. Basic phone line access, federal universal service charge, I don't even know what that is. Why am I paying these fees?
At Spectrum Mobile, there are no added taxes and fees. What you see is what you pay. $45 a line with our unlimited data plan or $14 a gig with our Buy the Gig plan.
The calculator said that we would save $600 a year. We've actually saved $612 in half a year.
With Spectrum Mobile, I'm saving over $350 a year.
$650 a year. It's true. Most customers could see a savings of over $600 a year. Don't wait. Find your savings at SpectrumMobile.com or call 844-258-8115. And get it all with free nationwide talk and text and no contracts.
I'm ready to switch.
Get more for less with our unlimited data plan for $45 a line or our Buy the Gig plan for $14 a gig. Plus, get the flexibility to mix and match plans. Visit a Spectrum store. Go to SpectrumMobile.com or call 844-258-8115.
Is that coming this way?
Active tornado warnings in effect.
I wasn't sure that I was going to walk away from the situation.
There just went a house. The roof just get ripped off. We're under fire.
When that came down, I yelled, I don't want to drown in the store.
Guys, we've got cars floating in the air.
Oh my God.
Truly, it was the scariest moment of my life.
Don't miss all new episodes of World's Deadliest Weather and Deadline to Disaster. Sunday nights on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 83 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms early, then variable clouds overnight with showers. Low 63, chance of rain 60%. Saturday, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 76. Winds north at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday night, partly cloudy skies. Low 55. Winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back into Weather Underground. Want to get you out into New York State where we've got an active tornado warning across the Walton area. These are communities on the east side of Syracuse. That's what I'm looking for. Looking at this kink in the line here. This is Delaware County for some idea of where we are. Again, north and east of Walton. So we're getting into central eastern New York at this point. Generally, what we have is a line of storms offering up a strong push of wind. However, right along that kink in the line, we could get a quick spin up of a tornado. These storms are moving very quickly, 50 miles per hour. So even outside that tornado warning, you can see we've got a severe thunderstorm warning for that push of strong winds. Be prepared for that up towards the Saratoga Springs area. That backward C shape showing up very prominently. So that's a very strong wind threat and something we're watching for. Same here on the north side of Oneonta. We've begun to see that storm bow out a bit. And so we'll be watching for some strong gusty winds in communities like Broome, eventually headed towards Albany. So Albany not under the warning right now, but I want you to be ready for that warning to be extended into the capital region. Mike?
All right, now we're talking tropics as well. A lot to unravel for you this evening. We've got hurricane hunters that will be scheduled to fly into Invest 90L that now we feel like sits somewhere off the coastline of California. The one today, this afternoon's flight was canceled, but tomorrow, 4:30 a.m. is when the Air Force recon is set to go out. And hurricane hunters, we know they provide essential data when they fly on their missions, and all that data that they bring us is real-time data, can also get folded into the forecast models. We're very lucky to be joined by retired hurricane hunter Terry Lynch. He's joining us from St. Petersburg this evening. Terry, thanks so much for being with us. Want to ask you specifically about systems like 90L. How difficult are missions like this? I feel like it's kind of like an Easter egg hunt. You know what you're looking for, but you don't exactly know where it is.
And that's very true. I do need to start off. My area of expertise is electronics and systems and instrumentation. I am not a meteorologist. I've worked with them for over 3 decades. And I've learned a little bit on the job. But So just to, I do not have expertise in that area. But as far as these InVest systems, when we do get asked to fly them, they are some of the hardest ones to find. The easiest storm, the hurricane hunters, the easiest storm to hunt is a well-defined storm with a well-defined eye. These nebulous blobs are very hard to find and locate and close the circulation, so to speak.
And Terry, how has it been in the last few months, whether it's with training flights or with winter storms or on the base, dealing with COVID-19 with all your colleagues?
Yeah, so NOAA, I work for the NOAA Hurricane Hunters, or used to, retired now, and they're under the Department of Commerce, and the Department of Commerce went into a mandatory telework situation because of the pandemic. And because of that, we have all been teleworking and maintaining online training and planning and things like that up until just a few weeks ago. And, at some point, yes, we need to get people in the hangar, actually touching the airplanes. The maintenance crews have had to go in there. And the pilots and the flight crews need proficiency training and currency, as well as the air crews. Personally, my role was an air crew member in the back of the airplane, working again with the sensors and computers, and everybody needs to stay current. So that process is just now happening. Just yesterday, for instance, Miss Piggy, N43 RF, went on a shakedown instrumentation check flight. And from what I understand, it was successful. So that's all part of the normal process that we would do any time this year in getting the planes ready for a June 1st start of the hurricane season.
Hey, Terry, in your expertise with electronics, tell us what has changed. What kind of technology has changed over the years in the Hurricane Hunter aircraft?
Oh, that's one thing that's been phenomenal leaps and bounds. When I first started, we had very old mainframe type computers, mini computers we called them, and yet they are every bit of 300 pounds for a quote mini computer. And they had paper tape memory, and so leaps and bounds as far as the technology. And one of the cool things, one of the things that I take a lot of satisfaction in is the actual sensor development, the step frequency microwave radiometer, for instance. I'm sure you and your listeners are very familiar with. When I first showed up at NOAA AOC in 1986, it was a science project from the University of Massachusetts, and now it's a don't leave home without it type instrument. So NOAA has been a big part in developing these instruments and getting them ready for prime time.
Well, retired Hurricane Hunter Terry Lynch, thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for all your years of service.
Thank you.
Well, when we come back on Weather Underground, we've got the latest on InVest 90L, the flash flooding, and the severe weather around the country. Mike and Alex and I are back.
At Marco's, get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Get the ultimate comfort food, cooked at over 450 degrees, with the comfort of knowing it's served contact-free. Order at marcos.com for contact-free delivery or carryout.
And we've upgraded her with a sonic shield.
Impressive.
There is one more thing.
Huh. Jake from State Farm.
Here's the deal. With the Drive Safe and Save app, you'll save up to 30% for being a safe driver. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Imagine me and you and me, so happy together. I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life.
Local Now is here for you.
Hi, New York. Hey, LA. Chicago. Hey, America.
2 tablespoons of sugar. Something for everyone. Local Now. Download for free in your favorite app store.
Hey, you, nice smartphone. You should switch it to TracFone Wireless to get more control over your wireless plan. They give you unlimited carryover data. You pay for your data, you keep your data. Really? Yeah, you just swap your SIM card. You can also keep your phone, keep your number, keep your network, $20 a month, no contract. Oh, but that case.
Temporary. It's my daughter's old case.
Well, okay, you do you. Available 24/7 at TracFone.com. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control.
Oh, it's a beautiful day. Oh, I never felt this way before. Give me some more.
If you have moderate to severe psoriasis, little things can become your big moment. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not a cream. It's a pill that treats plaque psoriasis differently. With Otezla, 75% clear skin is achievable. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. It may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about your medicines and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla, show more of you.
Getting older shouldn't mean giving up all the things she loves to do. It should just mean, well, finding new ways to do them. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to provide help with personal care, housekeeping, and of course, meal preparation.
Oh, that smells so good. Oh, and it tastes good too.
We can provide the right care right at home.
This is not a time for business as usual. Or is it? What if business as usual means putting people first and understanding their needs? If that's your business 365 days of every year, then business as usual is precisely what these times require. Which is why your Lexus dealer will do what we've always done. Put you first. Find out how we can service your individual needs at lexus.com/people first.
And next on Weather Underground, could we see our first named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season as early as this weekend? It's possible. And tonight, right here on Weather Underground, the very latest on Invest 90L. It's an area of concern off the coast of Florida right now, being given a high chance by the National Hurricane Center of becoming either a tropical or subtropical storm. Its name would be Arthur. And for Florida, the Bahamas, and along the entire East Coast, we're breaking down for you what to expect from heavy rain to rough surf to rip currents. And we're going to show you where the system could end up next week.
Hurricane Hunter flight scheduled to investigate this developing system tomorrow. And if you missed us last hour, make sure you catch our conversation with a 34-year veteran of these missions. He explains the critical information that forecasters get and the obvious dangers that come from flying into these powerful storms. We're also tracking multiple areas threatened by damaging storms right now. We'll give you the timing for severe weather stretching from Texas to New York, and where a tornado watch is currently in effect. And the concern is also increasing for potentially life-threatening flash flooding. We're going to pinpoint who's at risk now and into the weekend next on Weather Underground.
Well, we've got the tropics out there. We've got severe weather. A lot to unpack for you here over the next hour. Thanks for being with us on Weather Underground. I'm Mike Bettis.
And I'm Alex Wilson. Yeah, jam-packed show from the severe weather to perhaps Arthur. Did you ever watch that cartoon? It was one of my favorites.
I will admit, I never did.
Really? Oh, gosh. I used to love
Does it make me a bad person? Well, I have time now. I could probably catch up.
Yeah, you could. I think they still replay it on PBS during the day or something. Arthur, Francine, the whole crew. They're up to lots of shenanigans. Our hurricane expert, former director of the National Hurricane Center, Dr. Nab, is here with us to look at what we could possibly be dealing with in terms of Arthur.
Yes, we could have a tropical or hybrid depression or storm over the next day or two. We don't have that right now. What we've got is a surface trough there in the Florida Straits extending out into the Northeast Bahamas. Very disorganized, not very strong, and pretty lopsided system. But it does have that 80% chance, that 8 out of 10 shot of becoming our next depression or storm. And in this case, it's in the next 2 days. Let me show you where that could occur. And now we're going to get a low to form in this area. There's no doubt about that as we go to the northeast of the Bahamas. We're going to get a low, and it might be non-tropical, it might be hybrid, it might become fully tropical depression or storm. If it becomes the hybrid, the subtropical, or the tropical storm, it'll get that name, Arthur. But beyond this 2-day period, then it's going to be farther to the northeast. Now you can see it's aimed generally between North Carolina and Bermuda, but it doesn't mean we won't get some lingering impacts in Florida for the next couple of days. Then we've got maybe some indirect, maybe some direct impacts, not maybe severe impacts, but impacts nonetheless in places like North Carolina And then Mike and Alex, after that, it'll tangle with a northeastern system, and it'll get very messy and complicated in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast for next week.
Oh, yeah, we got a lot to get into with that in just a moment. Want to get you back into the northeastern and New England states because we've got severe weather working through this part of the country tonight. In fact, a tornado watch in effect until 10 o'clock local time. Now, we've trimmed Syracuse, Onondaga County off of that watch. Still have 2 counties in northeast PA, eastern New York, parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and also portions of Connecticut included within that watch. This watch in effect until 10 o'clock local time. We've got a line of severe thunderstorms, so warnings for some time throughout the Capital District all the way down to the Pennsylvania state line. We do have a tornado warning as well to warn you about. Essentially, we look at, as Dr. Forbes used to call them, the dog legs in the line, a little kink in the line, and this is an area where we could see a tornado spin up. What we've got are a line of storms or lined out storms moving 50 miles an hour, bringing with them gusty, damaging winds. But where we get that little notch, that little kink in the line, in this case in central Delaware County, this is where we could get a tornado. So tough to make out that little area of rotation, but right around Andes and just to the west of town would be where I'd be looking at that possible, again, could be a very quick spin up, but lowest level, most interior room where you want to be. Frankly, it's where you want to be anywhere from around north of Saratoga Springs all the way down to the Pennsylvania, New York state line, because these storms are bringing with them such strong winds that falling trees will be a real danger now and moving forward. So if you've got a lot of trees around your house, you need to protect yourself and get to that interior lowest room. Saratoga, Warren, Washington counties under a severe thunderstorm warning right now, and that push of wind making its way right into Saratoga Springs as we speak. Malta, you're up next at 6:15. Greenwich at 6:28 local time. Then we get you down into parts of Ohio where we've got a flash flood warning. We've seen some very heavy rain around the Cleveland metro area and still rain coming down. So we haven't seen much relief in terms of rain. Flash flood warning remains in effect for those areas, Mike.
All right, so now we want to take you to the middle of the country because we know that severe weather is going to be an issue for us. We think, especially Oklahoma and Texas, but we had the skies really light up for us yesterday across the plains and late last night. Severy, Kansas, look at the lightning just streaking across the sky here. You're going to see plenty of this tonight, that is for sure, especially across the Sooner State and the Lone Star State. We've got a severe thunderstorm watch right now. It includes West Texas, so Del Rio and Abilene, San Angelo, Midland, Childress, Lawton, those are all places where egg to tennis ball size hail could fall for you here. We could see 80-mile-per-hour winds, and to accompany all of these storms, torrential rain and flash flooding already an issue for us and may only get worse before it gets better. A couple of different clusters of storms to point out for you here, including north of I-20 here, Midland, just now near Lubbock and edging toward Childress for us tonight. These areas are getting clobbered with hail right now. Again, some of these locations coming right across I-20, by the way, could be looking at 2-inch diameter hail or even slightly larger than that. But notice not moving all that much, and so an ongoing concern will be flooding. Lynn County under a severe thunderstorm warning right now that goes until 5:30 tonight. Over into Oklahoma, storms all forming on a weak boundary here, and they're not moving all that much. So severe thunderstorm warnings and flash flood warnings are abundant right now, especially south of I-40. Some places in the last 3 hours have picked up more than 3 inches of rain, and so we're going to see creeks and streams come bank full very quickly, and you're going to see some urban street flooding as well. So some basements may be taking on some water here. Severe thunderstorm warning in Grady and Stevens County that goes until 5:15 tonight, and the surrounding or within all of these warnings are also flash flood warnings. You see the storms tonight. It's going to be Oklahoma and then Texas, and then watch those storms push their way eastbound overnight tonight. I think they're probably going to lose their severe criteria, meaning the hail size will probably come down. The winds will probably come below threshold for a severe thunderstorm warning, but the heavy rain will certainly be there. And I think lightning and thunder is going to be there as well. I think increasingly overnight tonight, it's the heavy downpours that become a problem. Then coastal Texas becomes an issue for us as we get into the early morning hours. And maybe another round comes in, Alex, in the afternoon. So in particular, places maybe like Houston should be on alert for the flooding a couple different times.
Yeah, need to stay on alert for a prolonged period. This is not going to be, just a short duration event for many locations. Well, it's been hot and dry in southwest Florida, but the Keys have been soaked. These storms, showers, all thanks to our tropical disturbance. It's our Invest 90L. Marathon, Florida was able to just demolish its previous daily rainfall record. They picked up 5.35 inches in a single day. That also made it the second wettest May Day on record. We've learned the stormy conditions in South Florida have also led to a temporary shutdown of COVID-19 testing centers in Miami-Dade County. Dr. Nab, you're keeping a very close eye on this Invest 90L right now, bringing rain to portions of South Florida. Thunderstorms are approaching parts of the Bahamas. But as we look at where this system is headed, it's up into this zone, up into parts of the Bahamas, 80% chance of development over the next 5 days. Dr. Nab, if it happens probably sooner rather than later, and the impacts will be felt sooner rather than later in a place like Florida and the Bahamas.
Yeah, and I think the Bahamas are going to take the brunt of it from this point forward. Even though the Keys got doused yesterday, they're getting a little bit of a break today. Southern Florida, some urban flooding with occasional moderate to heavy rainfall. But I think most of the weather right now is and will be for the next day or so over the Bahamas. But we do have some issues at the coast of Florida with the rip currents. Now, the surface pressure is dropping gradually. We don't have a tropical depression or storm yet, don't have a hybrid yet. And we don't really even have a really well-defined low. We got a very sharp surface trough. So the flow is around that fashion with the lowest pressures right in here. And the weather is kind of circulating around that. And then we've got the onshore flow into the east coast of Florida. So it's got some cooking to do before it could become a depression or storm. But we think it will probably be able to do that in the next day or two because it has some hybrid energy. The water vapor shows you the middle upper level low that's overhead. That's not what a tropical storm or hurricane usually looks like. This is why it could become a subtropical or hybrid system. So it's fighting off a lot of dry air and a lot of wind shear, but that's systems providing some instability, kicking off the thunderstorms along with that surface trough. See, moderate to locally heavy rain in some spots, but most of you are not getting too bad in Florida right now. Heavier stuff is over water and over the Bahamas. No flood advisories in effect, but we did have some heavy rain down in Fort Lauderdale, Miami. We had 1 to 2 inch accumulations, but over by Naples, it wasn't a whole lot. So the East Coast got more, and they're going to get most of what's left for Florida rain, maybe an inch or two. But most of it will probably be offshore. So the big threat, I think, from this point forward is on the coast and over the oceans, high risk of rip currents, and that risk is extending up into the Carolinas as the weekend goes along. Let me skip that, and we'll tell you what the surface pressure from the models is going to look like. So by tomorrow this time, sharpening trough, deepening low pressure, but again, most of the weather off to the northeast, and it's going to be, unfortunately, perhaps the rainiest over the northwest Bahamas. Then by Sunday, our low pressure is making its way slowly toward North Carolina. But Mike, I don't know how close 90L will get to North Carolina, but we do know it's going to tangle with a messy big system in the northeast one way or another. Some bad weather ahead in the mid-Atlantic and northeast for next week.
Yeah. Going to stay that way, we think, for a couple of days here, maybe for the better part of a week, if not more than that. Could it maybe even extend even to Memorial Day weekend? It's very, very possible, right? So let's break it down for you. But until then, gosh, can you just bask in the glow of what today was? Oh, gorgeous. Both in D.C. and in Philadelphia, your hottest day of the year so far. Temperatures in the mid-80s, a ton of sunshine, and we think that a lot more rain is coming your way. Unfortunately, you're going to be, truly sunshine's going to be at a premium. You're going to have a vitamin D deficiency that's going to go on for at least another week, but it's a complicated system with a lot of different things, a lot of different players involved here over the course of the next week, with an upper level low that sits in there, may couple with a surface low. How much does the tropics play a role here? But as we go into early next week, you can see we've kind of got two double-barreled lows here. Some of that maybe what could be Arthur to come. One's just going to be a pesky low that just sits at the coastline for a couple of days here. So let's start now Monday. Let's get you through the weekend and take you to Monday. You can see very wet in the eastern half of the country. Thunderstorms in the forecast all the way up into the northeast. More showery than anything else going into Tuesday. Couldn't rule out a stray thunderstorm, but I don't think it's going to be necessary necessarily that unstable. I think we're going to have more showery weather than anything else. Cloudy, gloomy for you on Wednesday, and that probably even holds true going to Thursday and Friday, with very little sunshine in our forecast at all. Take a look then as we go early next week again what those lows are going to do. They're going to sit there. They're also going to produce, we think, a pretty decent pressure gradient. So winds also now are factors. So not only is it going to be cloudy and wet, it at times is going to be very breezy for you as well, and maybe even uncomfortably breezy, especially near the water. I think Chesapeake Bay up toward Long Island, this is where we can have some very significant winds. Maybe out on the islands, I know a lot of people want to go up maybe toward maybe a Martha's Vineyard or a Nantucket. It's going to be ugly weather for us all of next week, we think, and very, very windy. The ferries may have some trouble at times, but that forecast for a place like D.C., my goodness, don't want to sugarcoat it for you, folks. I don't want to promise you something that's not going to happen, but look, you can see this. Thunderstorms and rain all the way through Friday, hints even that Saturday, Sunday, and even Memorial Day itself could be rainy here. Dr. Knabb, I want to bring you back in, though, to discuss what factor 90L or maybe Arthur could play in all this.
It might play some role, but I don't think it's going to be the dominant role. I think the low that you're talking about that's going to be coming across into the Northeast from land is going to be the bigger player. It's just that our tropical or hybrid system might add a little bit more spin, a little bit more moisture. Here's picking it up where I left it off on Monday. Here's where the European model has whatever our tropical hybrid system is going to be, and then there's the big low over land. So they're kind of working together at this point, but either way, you've got a strong onshore flow and a lot of moisture funneling in to the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. But in this particular case, in the European model, it takes our tropical system or our hybrid system offshore, and then our non-tropical low just big, dominant, and you still have the very strong pressure gradient. So you don't need the tropical system to have this windy, wet, and coastal trouble kind of system most of next week. That's the European model solution. Now, let's take a look at the GFS that's a little different, because here is where it has our tropical system, maybe right over the Outer Banks on Monday, and then they really just kind of combine into one big one. So this might be where the tropical component is a little bit more significant, but in any case, the result is the same: strong onshore flow, a lot of rain, a lot of coastal flood issues, and also front extending back down to Florida and the Bahamas next week. So nobody's going to get a good result out of this mess. Watch what the ocean does here as a result of our tropical system and our non-tropical system. Look at these big waves and the big onshore flow pushing toward the coast, and also look at these big rainfall totals, whether it's the European model near the coast or the GFS inland. I think Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, places like that, Alex, really significant flood risk.
Yeah, we're going to be watching those areas very closely over the next few days. Well, Hurricane Hunter is scheduled to fly into Invest 90L tomorrow. Coming up on our show, we're going to talk to a retired Hurricane Hunter about what it's like to fly these dangerous missions. And we'll show you how the coronavirus has changed the way Team Rubicon helps hurricane survivors this year.
With Dish, you get the Hopper, TV's most powerful DVR. It lets you record up to 16 shows at once. Why so many?
See you in the morning. Okay, bye, sounds great. Come here.
Because we know more shows can help you make the most of the perfect girls' night in.
Record up to 16 shows at once. Dish, tuned in to you.
This is one. So is this. And so are these. But no matter the shape, square footage, or who might live in them, they all represent something more. A sanctuary. A refuge. The feeling of home. That's why we're here. At Lowe's, we believe everyone deserves that feeling, to help make your home be everything you want it to be. Because home is what unites us.
This is a payday bar, and there's only one thing you need to know about it. It has a truckload of peanuts surrounding sweet caramel. I mean, holy, look at all those peanuts. Best part is it helps you get through your day. Payday. Get to it.
What overheated underwear feels like. What Duluth Armachillo underwear feels like. Duluth Trading Armachillo Underwear. Put 'em on ice. Only at Duluth Trading.
It's best we stay apart for a bit. But that doesn't mean you're in this alone. We're automatically refunding our customers a portion of their personal auto premiums. We're also offering flexible payment options for those who have been financially affected by the crisis. We look forward to returning to something that feels a little closer to life as we knew it. But until then, you can see how we're here to help at libertymutual.com/COVID-19.
Is that net carbs or total? Not enough fiber. Chocolate would be good.
Snacking should be sweet and simple. The delicious taste of Glucerna gives you the sweetness you crave while helping you manage your blood sugar with nutrients to help support immune health.
When the present moment is unpredictable, it's important to stay focused on the future. Personalized, goal-based financial advice can help you navigate today while still staying on track for your long-term financial goals tomorrow. At Ameriprise Financial, that's what we've done for over 125 years. And what our advisors will continue to do for generations to come. Ameriprise Financial.
Dolph Lundgren, you've got a 160 IQ, a master's in chemical engineering. I mean, you're technically a genius. And it appears you're quite the investor.
I like to trade.
Well, TD Ameritrade has pros ready if you need help, say, talking through a new strategy, just in case things, get a little rocky. I'm sorry. On the upside, I think that's waterproof. Maybe not.
Have you taken a body blow at work? If so, it's good to know that the lawyers at Pasternak Tilker are in your corner, ready to get you back in the ring. Whether you have a workers' compensation claim, a COVID-19 claim, or a Social Security disability claim, Pasternak Tilker, Ziegler, Walsh, Stanton, and Romano will always fight for you. Call them today at 1-800-222-WISH. That's 1-800-222-WISH.
Everything is almost cloud-free at this point.
Plus, it's not cold at all.
We're drying out and even warming up. We love it that way.
Better days start with the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 83 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, steady light rain this evening. Showers continuing overnight. Low 64. Winds west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Saturday, partly cloudy. High 76. Winds north at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday night, partly cloudy skies. Low 55. Winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Take a look at this new video coming into us here at the Weather Channel of some really heavy rain in Henrietta, Oklahoma. Look at this video. Look at the size of those raindrops. Sheets of rain blowing across the asphalt. That's been a real problem across the southern plains. We've seen these strong thunderstorms, even severe thunderstorms, moving very slowly. So that rain just piling up in many of these communities. South side of Oklahoma City and then the southeastern part of the state, to McAllister over to the Arkansas state line, even beyond the Arkansas state line, we've got flash flood warnings in effect. Some severe warnings as well for the possibility of some hail, some gusty winds in there. But really the problem has been how much rain is coming down with these storms. So areas are just getting soaked and swamped. We get you down into parts of Texas where we've got some hail producing strong thunderstorms. And I want you to take a look at this. You can see that outflow boundary, that very thin line of green. That's that cool air rushing away from the thunderstorm. And the National Weather Service office there in Lubbock says we've got an ongoing haboob. So actually picking up that wind carrying the dust. We're going to be getting some video of that in shortly. So Get inside if you're in the area. You don't want to be out and about with all that dust around. Now we get you into the Northeast. We've got a new tornado warning here along the New York-Vermont state line. All along that line, though, a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the strong gusty winds. So we've been watching this bow echo. You can see that backward C shape very, very strongly, very apparent. And a lot of times we're going to look at kind of the comma head of that line. You can see some kinks in the bow, but you can also see on that that top edge where you've got that comma. We can get a little area of rotation. I think that's exactly what we've got here in Bennington and Washington County. So Washington County into Bennington County. There's our area of rotation. This storm has been moving quickly. A little area of rotation there as well. This storm is moving quickly to the east. These storms have been moving about 50 miles an hour. So very, very strong winds likely. And here you could be dealing with that possible spin up. Salem, you're up next just before the bottom of the hour. Mike?
A ton going on in the Northeast, plenty going on in the middle of the country as well, with severe storms that are also producing some serious rain. And so we got some flooding issues, including some issues around Pasadena, Texas. Look at what the high water is doing here. Cars are literally having to splash through it here. Be careful in this high water, folks. We really urge you not to drive through high water. And in some places, the water is flowing at a pretty good pace. You just have no idea if there's even a road underneath that. This could go on through the weekend. Dr. Nab back with us now to analyze how much rain some of these storms could pump out, Dr. Nab. And there'll be some cities across Texas, Oklahoma, maybe the Mid-South or Deep South that could be in trouble.
Yeah, and Mike, I'm going to show you two examples right off the bat. We're going to talk about the Houston area, then we're going to talk about Cleveland, Ohio, that've got flash flood warnings and people getting in trouble on the roads in their cars tonight. And both of those cities are at risk for flash flooding this weekend, just as an example. There's a lot of other areas in the middle of the country that are going to be dealing with this tonight and through the weekend. Let's go to Southeast Texas. It was Beaumont, Orange, Port Arthur area yesterday. Today, it's the Galveston, Houston area. So let's go to Pasadena there on the southeast side of town, where we've got a couple of reports here in Deer Park, just east of downtown Pasadena. High water, vehicles stranded. This was reported an hour or two ago at Spencer Highway and Beltway 8, but it's still under a flash flood risk here this evening. And then just northwest of downtown, cameras show main lines of State Highway 225 covered by water at Ritchie Street. So that's just Pasadena. Now let's go southwest of Houston to the Sugar Land area, where you're under a flash flood warning now until 6:30 local time. And even if the rain is lessening at the moment, it's rocking and rolling up in Katy right now. But look at the reports we're getting there just southeast of Sugar Land in the First Colony area. Knee to waist deep water at Dulles and Cartwright in Sugar Land. And then here, streets and roads closed and flooded with vehicles stranded between First Colony Mall and Oyster Creek Park. This is getting serious, folks. Get off the roads. And if you're on the roads, don't drive that car onto a water-covered road. League City, southeast of Houston, under a warning until 5:45 local time. And I would say west of Houston, you're headed in that direction with some very heavy rain. Now, I want to go quickly on the other side of the problem here in the middle of the country to Cleveland, Ohio, where you're still under a warning until 10:15 local time. And look at this report. Just southwest of downtown Cleveland, 2 vehicles trapped due to flooding on West 130th Street near I-480. Water rescue in progress in the Lindale area. So it's happening all over. Folks, you got to stay off the roads. And Alex, I didn't even talk about all these flash flood warnings that are in Oklahoma and Arkansas. It is a rough, rough night, and it's going to continue in Texas and Oklahoma through the weekend.
Yeah, Southern Plains going to be a tough spot. Well, it is Friday night, and that means we have to get you your Friday night pizza forecast. We have chosen you, Miami, as a great spot to order in a piping hot pizza. Temps in the upper and mid 70s. Don't forget, tip your driver well. And for those of you, thank you so much for helping me with the banana pepper recommendation. I am going to try it this weekend. We get you back into New York State, though. Want to break down this tornado warning for you. Moving out of New York and into the state of Vermont. A closer look at this one. It's right along that bow echo. We've got some strong winds moving out of New York and into Vermont, but on the north end of that could get a little bit of a spin up. Bennington and Washington counties in that zone. This storm moving to the east, and these storms have been moving around 50 miles an hour.
Friday night pizza forecast brought to you by Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com.
Hi, I'm Lolly, a Domino's franchisee.
As you can see, we're open and working hard to safely keep putting food on people's tables.
And we could use your help doing that.
If getting some full or part-time work during these tough times could help you,
Domino's is hiring.
Head to jobs.domino's.com
and apply today.
Because we're not only committed to putting food on people's tables,
we're committed to helping you put food on your table.
When it comes to parenting, you're a pro. You know reflexes are key. You know your kid doesn't step around puddles and wet shoes. Not cool. You know what else isn't cool? Those cheap leaky diapers. Because with Love's, you get the pro-level leak protection you're looking for. Love's. Parent like a pro.
From staircases supporting a grand entrance to floors kissed by bare feet, our all-new On Guard termite protection system keeps termites out to strengthen your home for all the love it holds. Call 1-800-TERMINIX.
I wanted my hepatitis C gone.
I put off treating mine.
Epclusa treats all main types of chronic hep C. Whatever your type, Epclusa could be your kind of cure.
I just found out about mine.
I knew for years. Epclusa has a 98% overall cure rate.
I had no symptoms of hepatitis C.
Mine caused liver damage.
Epclusa is only one pill, once a day, taken with or without food for 12 weeks. Before starting Epclusa, your doctor will test if you have had hepatitis B, which may flare up and could cause serious liver problems during and after treatment. Tell your doctor if you have had hepatitis B, other liver or kidney problems, HIV or other medical conditions, and all medicines you take, including herbal supplements. Taking amiodarone with Epclusa may cause a serious slowing of your heart rate. Common side effects include headache and tiredness. Ask your doctor today if Epclusa is your kind of cure.
It's Jake from State Farm. Sounds like a really good deal.
Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning. Who is this?
It's Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
These days, it's anything but business as usual. That's why working together is more important than ever. AT&T is committed to keeping you connected so you can keep your patients cared for, your customers served, your students inspired, and your employees closer than ever. Our network is resilient. Our people are strong. Our job is to keep your business connected. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do.
Oh, it's a beautiful day. Oh, I never felt this way before. Give me some more.
Way. Active tornado warnings in effect.
I wasn't sure that I was going to walk away from the situation.
There just went a house. The roof just get ripped off. We're under fire.
When that came down, I yelled, I don't want to drown in the store.
Guys, we've got cars floating again.
Oh my God.
Truly, it was the scariest moment of my life.
Don't miss all new episodes of World's Deadliest Weather and Deadline to Disaster. Sunday nights on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back in, everyone. You're watching Weather Underground on our very active Friday night. I'm Mike Bettis.
I'm Alex Wilson. Yeah, we're watching severe weather across the Northeast, the Southern Plains, and then we've got our Invest to talk tropics, and looks like it could be a rough start to the new week for parts of the Northeast. But I want to start with the severe weather. The threat is increasing across sections of the Northeast. We're going to be watching places like Pittsburgh, Albany. You've kind of found yourself right in the thick of it. At this point, those storms moving through the Capital District and into, say, places in Vermont and Massachusetts. All right, let's break down what's happening right now. We have a severe thunderstorm warning. We did have a tornado warning in this area. We do have a tornado warning farther up to the north. This is our severe thunderstorm warning for the strong gusty winds. So we are in the state of New York eastern part of the state of New York. It's Colony at 6:33, Cohost at 6:39, and then Albany at 6:45. Looking at this storm to move right into the area. Gusty, damaging winds expected for the capital of New York State. You can expect trees to fall down, and unfortunately, we could see some localized power outages. So do keep that in mind if you are in this area. Now, we look up to the east of Saratoga Springs, and that's where we've got a tornado warned storm. There's that warning for the counties of Albany, Columbia, and Rensselaer counties until 7 o'clock. Now our tornado warning. We've got this bow echo here, this very apparent backwards C on the radar, and that would indicate that the winds are pushing out, and that gives that appearance because we've got such strong winds translating to the surface. But on the north side of these, sometimes we can get a little bit of a spin up along the comma head of this bow echo. Bennington and Washington counties are those under the tornado warning until 6:45 local time. This will be headed towards the Manchester area of rotation right there around Salem, maybe one out ahead of it as well. This storm moving very, very quickly to the east, though. These have been moving around 50 miles an hour, so they are moving highway speed out there. West Sandgate, you're up at 6:36, Sandgate 6:39, and Sunderland at 6:47. If you are in the path of this storm, lowest level, most interior room where you need to be. Heck, if you're anywhere in these severe thunderstorm warned counties, I would say lowest level, most interior room, because, Mike, falling trees are going to be a real danger from parts of southern Vermont into, say, the Saugerties area as we move through the next few minutes.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to have some issues. We also think in the middle of the country, in particular, places like Oklahoma and Texas. It's already been a very rough day for us. Could get even worse before the night is over. You take a look at Houston, where it's been a soaker for us. It's 71 degrees right now. Wet roads. Be careful if you're traveling this evening, and be careful overnight tonight and tomorrow morning. And there's going to be ongoing storms for us. And we think a place like Houston, some of those underpasses are going to fill up for us, unfortunately. There's a look at what's going on in Houston right now. Some stationary storms, especially west on the Katy Freeway here, Rosenberg, Eagle Lake to Katy, and then south, Danbury over towards, say, League City, and we've got flood warnings in effect here. Some places here picked up more than 3 inches of rain in just the past 3 hours, more than enough to cause us some flood issues here. Then you take a look at the bigger picture from Oklahoma back down through West Texas. We have issues with the storms tonight. Some of these are severe thunderstorm warned. Some of them also have accompanying flash flood warnings. Glasscock County right now, just outside of Midland, this would be south of I-20, is under a severe thunderstorm warning. We've also had those warnings north of I-20. Plenty of outflow with these storms as well. Maybe you saw the outflow gusts there on the radar, but a ton of hail. Look at the hail cores embedded with these storms. We could be looking at hen egg size or 2-inch diameter hail. There's that outflow, by the way, going past Lubbock. So you might get some dust kicked up with that and briefly reduce visibility, but the heavy rain is sticking with us here and headed over toward maybe the Childress area, eventually Wichita Falls, and then circling back toward Lawton, and really between Lawton and Oklahoma City. We've got some very intense weather tonight just south of Oklahoma City. Really concerned about some flood issues there. Watch the storms through the evening tonight. They still hold together. They may lose their severe criteria overnight tonight, but they'll still produce huge amounts of rain, and that's why we think flooding is such a concern for us tonight. Look how coastal Texas gets affected early morning hours, so even while you're sleeping, the storms are rumbling here, and then heavy rain could be 1-2 inches an hour. Some places could be more than that. Then pushing its way through Louisiana, so there'll be issues across the Arklatex for sure. These are the areas where flooding will exist for us tonight through tomorrow morning. Definitely the hill country is involved there, right across the Red River Valley. These are locations where you really need to stay off the roads. If you can stay home, that is the best thing you can do. We get ourselves in trouble behind the wheel of our car all the time here, folks. So please pay attention to all the warnings that are out there, because we will have issues through the night tonight, unfortunately. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about what the storms are going to do for us here, because, Alex, for a lot of people, it's a night it could be deadly if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, and we're going to continue to break down those warnings for people as the show continues. We're also following our potential tropical threat in the Atlantic. We'll check in with Dr. Nav after this.
Hey, Boston. Hey, Atlanta. Hola, Miami.
Local Now is here for you.
Hi, New York. Hey, LA. Chicago.
To get you through life's new normal.
Hey, America.
Trust me, you're going to love this. Come on.
2 tablespoons of sugar.
But kind of near average on.
This is the place to be.
Something for everyone. Local now. Download for free in your favorite app store.
Capital One knows life doesn't update you about your credit card. So meet Eno, the Capital One assistant that looks out for charges that might surprise you and helps you fix them. What's in your wallet?
Oh, it's a beautiful day. Oh, I never felt this way before. Give us some more.
Your mission, stand up to moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis and take it on with Rinvoq. Rinvoq, a once-daily pill, can dramatically improve symptoms. Rinvoq helps tame pain, stiffness, swelling, and for some, Rinvoq can even significantly reduce RA fatigue. That's Rinvoq relief. With RA, your overactive immune system attacks your joints. Rinvoq regulates it to help stop the attack.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious infections and blood clots, sometimes fatal, have occurred, as have certain cancers, including lymphoma, and tears in the stomach or intestines, and changes in lab results. Your doctor should monitor your blood work. Tell your doctor about any infections, and if you are or may become pregnant while taking Rinvoq.
Take on RA. Talk to your rheumatologist about Rinvoq relief. Rinvoq, make it your mission. If you can't afford your medicine, AbbVie may be able to help.
Do these moves look familiar? Then you might have a condition called dry mouth. Biotin is clinically proven to soothe and moisturize a dry mouth, plus it freshens breath. Biotin, immediate and long-lasting dry mouth symptom relief.
This is not a time for business as usual. Or is it? What if business as usual means putting people first and understanding their needs? If that's your business 365 days of every year, then business as usual is precisely what these times require. Which is why your Lexus dealer will do what we've always done. Put you first. Find out how we can service your individual needs at lexus.com/people first.
It's Megan! Oh, this is gonna hit town!
Inside the storm, every second counts. Deadline to Disaster, Sunday nights, only on the Weather Channel.
Well, coming up at 8 p.m. right after Weather Underground, it is World's Wildest Weather. In tonight's episode, hellish hailstones. You'll see firsthand the frightening moments as massive hail shatters through a Texas family's home.
We just couldn't hear very much. I couldn't really hear my kids screaming, but they were screaming.
I cannot believe it. Stay out of the kitchen.
Glass was coming in. Glass was in my hair. It made it all the way across our house. Our whole house was covered with glass shards. I started worrying about my family. We put them in the closet underneath the stairs. That's the most protective part we have in our whole house.
Hey guys, it's okay. Just stay there. Be safe. It's okay. You're safe right there. You're totally safe. Okay.
It did feel like that this is it. Our house is probably going to be destroyed. Usually tornadoes come with hail, and as loud as it was and as large a hail that was coming through our house, I thought that our house was, and the sound, I thought our roof was being torn off the house and that our house was going to collapse.
It's incredible. You can see the whole story, World's Wildest Weather, coming up after this show, 8/7 Central. Mike?
All right, let's talk some tropics tonight. I want to take you down into Florida. Port St. Lucie, it's been kind of wet for us today, at times a little bit breezy, and you're not alone. A lot of South Florida has been that way, all courtesy of Invest 90L. We've got a trough of low pressure that's made it rather unsettled across Florida. So let's bring in our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Knabb. 90L. Dr. Knabb, can you explain for our viewers what that is and what we think 90L could become?
Yeah, 90L and Invest is a designation. depression. It's not a meteorological term. These numbers start at 90, they go up through 99, they recycle them. For the systems that are trying to develop, and invest is just short for they're investigating it. But it's not meteorological. It's just to designate it before it becomes a depression or storm, whether that's tropical or hybrid. Subtropical. In this case, 8 out of 10 shot, according to the Hurricane Center, of it becoming a depression or storm in the next 2 days. Because beyond that 2-day period, it's going to be farther northeast, off the east coast of the U.S. and going north of Bermuda eventually. Now, the hurricane hunters were tentatively scheduled yesterday to fly into it today. Why was that flight canceled? Well, because the hurricane specialist on the ops floor decided I'm not going to gain anything from this flight that I don't already know. These flights are expensive. You don't fly them unless you need them, because we can tell from the satellite that this is just a surface trough. It's not well organized yet. But if you look at the isobars on top of the satellite, you see it's a very sharp surface trough, so the flow is around this way, and the weather is mostly on the east and northeast side of it. Middle and upper levels are dominated by an upper level trough, and this is the hybrid non-tropical part of it, where we're getting a lot of dry air and shear into it, and this upper level trough is mostly because of temperature differences in the atmosphere. So it's not fully tropical, at least not yet. It is occasionally producing some locally heavy downpours. We had some urban flooding issues in Fort Lauderdale, Miami earlier today. Less of a problem right now. An inch or two more to go, mainly on the east coast of Florida, and heavier rains in store for the Bahamas. And in the meantime, we've got a high risk of rip currents on the east coast of Florida, and we'll just have to watch this over the weekend, Mike, as this heads northeastward. How close does it get to North Carolina on Sunday, and how strong is it?
Yeah. All the details will unfold here over the course of the next couple of days. But Dr. Neb, all this week we've been talking with folks at home about how to get ready for the upcoming hurricane season and helping ourselves get ready, helping our communities get ready. What are some of the big takeaways from this week that people should really hold on to?
Well, I want people to be thinking, okay, get yourself and your family ready for hurricane season at your home. But then once you're ready, you got to help out others. And Mike, one thing that we've talked about is the whole evacuation question is never just one person's or one family's issue, because during the pandemic, we know public shelters are not the ideal place to go. And even if we use hotels, that's not the ideal place to go. The best place to go is to a friend's house, a family member's house who's just outside of the evacuation zones. And so that's how the community works. If you're not in the evacuation zone, work with a friend or family member to be their host home. I think that's ideal, dealing with hurricanes and a pandemic at the same time.
Well, you know, normally, Dr. Nab, we say, okay, I'm going to be your hurricane destination. Just come on, hang out with us. Well, maybe we'll just have a good time. That may not necessarily be the case, because we would still want to practice social distancing. There might be certain supplies that you might have to additionally take with you that you wouldn't otherwise have to.
Yeah, you still got to do what you can to maintain as much distance as possible. Wear those masks, wash the hands, use the sanitizer, and and not congregate really close together for long periods of time in wherever it is you're going to shelter. But you got to evacuate this year, no matter what, because that would be the more immediate threat to life. And then, of course, we talked about helping the less fortunate people in our communities, whether that's a friend or family member or a neighbor, somebody who's elderly, somebody who's really struggling during the pandemic with the economic crisis, someone you know who can't help themselves. Get yourself ready. Find one person that you can help get ready in advance, because if we all wait till the last minute, it's too late.
Truly, people helping people is never taken on a greater moment.
And we'll be back on Weather Underground to talk about the flooding, Mike.
We're back right after this.
You may not see them, but your itchy eyes know they're out there. Thousands of allergens in each cubic yard of air. No wonder you rub your eyes hundreds of times a day. But now, relief is just one drop away. Introducing Pataday. Full prescription strength Pataday works right in your eyes, right on the cells that make them itch. Fast. Just one drop once a day means relief that lasts all day. So turn your day into a Pataday. Now get Pataday without a prescription. Everywhere.
Is that net carbs or total? Not enough fiber. Chocolate would be good.
Snacking should be sweet and simple. The delicious taste of Glucerna gives you the sweetness you crave while helping you manage your blood sugar with nutrients to help support immune health.
From staircases supporting a grand entrance to floors kissed by bare feet, our all-new On Guard termite protection system keeps termites out to strengthen your home for all the love it holds. Call 1-800-TERMINIX.
Depression. Multiple symptoms hold you back. It's hard to get out of your driveway and your own way. Gotta change this. So your doctor tells you about Trintellix, a prescription medicine for adults with depression, and you feel this overall relief. Yeah. And Trintellix had no significant impact on weight in clinical trials.
Tell your doctor right away if you have worsening depression, unusual changes in mood, behavior, or thoughts of suicide. Antidepressants can increase these in children, teens, and young adults. Do not take with MAOIs. Tell your doctor about your medications, including migraine, psychiatric, and depression medications, to avoid a potentially life-threatening condition. Increased risk of bleeding and bruising may occur, especially if taken with NSAID pain relievers, aspirin, or blood thinners. Manic episodes or vision problems may occur in some people. May cause low sodium levels. Common side effects include nausea, constipation, and vomiting. Some reports of weight gain have been received since product approval.
Feeling better. Maybe not dancing better.
Ask your doctor about changing to Trintellix.
Just because someone grows older, does that mean they have to grow apart from their friends or from the things they love to do? With Right at Home, it doesn't. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to help with personal care, housekeeping, meals, and most of all, staying engaged in life.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you ready to go?
Oh, I sure am.
We can provide the right care right at home.
Carmel is cheaper to the airport. That's right. Cheaper than Uber and Lyft to and from all New York airports. JFK, Newark, LaGuardia. Carmel is cheaper. App, phone, or online, all the time. Check for yourself. Did I mention Carmel is cheaper to the airport? Well, it is. Use it. It's cheaper.
Feed a healthy lifestyle with Pure Protein.
High protein, low sugar, tastes great.
High protein, low sugar, so good.
High protein, low sugar, birthday cake.
Pure Protein, the best combination to help you stay fit.
Tomorrow, a once-in-a-lifetime all-star lineup of laughs. Billy Crystal, Whoopi Goldberg, Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Hart, Howie Mandel, Kenan Thompson, and more of America's funniest comedians for the Feeding America Comedy Festival.
Join us for a night of comedy to help raise money for communities in need across America, just like you do every season with us here at the Weather Channel.
Byron Allen presents the Feeding America Comedy Festival. Tomorrow at 6/5 Central, here on the Weather Channel, and streaming on Local Now.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, steady light rain this evening. Showers continuing overnight. Low 64. Winds west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Saturday, partly cloudy, high 76. Winds north at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday night, partly cloudy skies, low 55. Winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Well, welcome back into Weather Underground. We are monitoring severe weather all across New York, into Vermont, and now Massachusetts. Even a little bit of New Hampshire under the warning. Very, very strong winds likely with these storms that are rolling through the Northeast this evening. And if, in fact, 60-plus mile-per-hour winds are going to be the norm for a lot of these areas. You can see that kink in the line there, that indication that we've got a really strong push of wind with that storm that's now in southern parts of Vermont. So a closer look at this one. Did have a tornado warning on this at this point, dealing with the severe thunderstorm warning, but I'd say treat it the same way as a tornado warning because falling trees are going to be the real threat with this storm. It's Bennington, Washington, and Windham County under the warning. This is on the east side of State Route or Interstate 7, eventually headed towards 91. Now, Albany, you've seen the worst of your storms move to the east. On the south side of town, though, still dealing with some gusty winds, and you remain under the severe thunderstorm warning until the top of the hour. But take a look at all the wind reports that have come in across western New York, into central New York, Finger Lakes, southern tier, and now over into the eastern part of the state. We anticipate, Mike, that this will continue as these storms roll farther to the east.
A very rough night for us in the Northeast, and it could get pretty rough for us in the Southeast, including down through Florida. We've got Invest 90L out there. Could it become Arthur, a tropical storm or maybe a subtropical storm? Today's Hurricane Hunter flight was canceled. Tomorrow, a preliminary flight for 4:30 in the morning with United States Air Force Hurricane Hunters. Hopefully they'll see something and they can give us an idea of what's going on out there. Nonetheless, one is scheduled for early tomorrow morning. We're very lucky to be joined by retired Hurricane Hunter Terry Lynch. He's joining us from St. Petersburg this evening. Terry, thanks so much for being with us. Want to ask you specifically about systems like 90L. How difficult are missions like this? I feel like it's kind of like an Easter egg hunt. You know what you're looking for, but you don't exactly know where it is.
And that's very true. I do need to start off. My area of expertise is electronics and systems and instrumentation. I am not a meteorologist. I've worked with them for over 3 decades. And I've learned a little bit on the job. But so just to, I do not have expertise in that area. But as far as, these Invest systems, when we do get asked to fly them, they are some of the hardest ones to find. The easiest storm, the Hurricane Hunters, the easiest storm to hunt is a well-defined storm with a well-defined eye. These nebulous blobs are very hard to find and locate and close the circulation, so to speak.
And Terry, how has it been in the last few months, whether it's with training flights or with winter storms or on the base, dealing with COVID-19 with all your colleagues?
Yeah, so NOAA, I work for the NOAA Hurricane Hunters, or used to, retired now, and they're under the Department of Commerce, and the Department of Commerce went into a mandatory telework situation because of the pandemic. And because of that, we have all been teleworking and maintaining online training and planning and things like that up until just a few weeks ago. And, at some point, yes, we need to get people in the hangar, actually touching the airplanes. The maintenance crews have had to go in there. And the pilots and the flight crews need proficiency training and currency, as well as the air crews. Personally, my role was an air crew member in the back of the airplane, working again with the sensors and computers, and everybody needs to stay current. So that process is just now happening. Just yesterday, for instance, Miss Piggy, N43 RF, went on a shakedown instrumentation check flight. And from what I understand, it was successful. So that's all part of the normal process that we would do any time this year in getting the planes ready for a June 1st start of the hurricane season.
Hey, Terry, in your expertise with electronics, tell us what has changed. What kind of technology has changed over the years in the Hurricane Hunter aircraft?
Oh, that's one thing. There's been phenomenal leaps and bounds. When I first started, we had very old mainframe type computers, mini computers we called them, and yet they are every bit of 300 pounds for a quote mini computer. And they had paper tape memory, and so leaps and bounds as far as the technology. And one of the cool things, one of the things that I take a lot of satisfaction in is the actual sensor development, the step frequency microwave radiometer, for instance. I'm sure you and your listeners are very familiar with. When I first showed up at NOAA AOC in 1986, it was a science project from the University of Massachusetts, and now it's a don't leave home without it type instrument. So NOAA has been a big part in developing these instruments and getting them ready for prime time.
Well, retired Hurricane Hunter Terry Lynch, thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for all your years of service.
Thank you.
And we've got another hour of Weather Underground headed your way, including tracking severe weather across the southern plains and the Northeast. Stay with us.
And Doug.
Give me your hand! I can save you! Lots of money with Liberty Mutual. We customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
With Dish, you get the Hopper. It lets you record up to 16 shows at once.
See you in the morning. Okay, bye, sounds great.
Because more shows can help you make the most of the perfect girls' night in.
Dish, tuned in to you.
Oh, it's a beautiful day. Oh, I never felt this way before. Give me some more.
From staircases supporting a grand entrance to floors kissed by bare feet, our all-new On-Guard termite protection system keeps termites out to strengthen your home for all the love it holds. Call 1-800-TERMINIX.
Buick and GMC are here to help, to keep you going through these unprecedented times. If you need a vehicle, we're offering 0% financing for up to 84 months. Plus, you may have the option to shop online and take delivery at home with Shop, Click, Drive. If you need service, our certified technicians are ready to help. You can even schedule your appointment online. Together, we'll get through these uncertain times. Buick and GMC, we're here to help.
This is Hal. This is Hal's heart. It's been broken and put back together. This is also Hal's heart and his relief, knowing he's covered by Blue Cross Blue Shield. And this is our promise, with over 80 years of healthcare expertise, to be here for you now and always. This is Medicare from Blue Cross Blue Shield. This is the benefit of blue.
When it comes to parenting, you're a pro. You know reflexes are key. You know your kid doesn't step around puddles. And wet shoes, not cool. You know what else isn't cool? Those cheap leaky diapers. Because with Love's, you get the pro-level leak protection you're looking for. Love's. Parent like a pro.
Clean is a feeling. It's the simple joy of washing your hands without ever touching a faucet. It's the little things that matter. That's why we create moments to feel Kohler clean every day.
When the present moment is unpredictable, it's important to stay focused on the future. Personalized, goal-based financial advice can help you navigate today while still staying on track for your long-term financial goals tomorrow. At Ameriprise Financial, that's what we've done for over 125 years. And what our advisors will continue to do for generations to come. Ameriprise Financial.
And next on Weather Underground, could we see our first named system of the Atlantic hurricane season? And could it happen as early as this weekend? Tonight we are breaking down for you everything about Invest 90L, an area of concern near Florida, now being given a high chance by the National Hurricane Center of becoming either a tropical or subtropical storm. It could be Arthur. And for Florida, the Bahamas, and along the entire East Coast, we're going to break down for you what to expect from heavy rain to rough surf to rip currents and show you where the system could end up next week.
And Hurricane Hunter flights are scheduled to investigate this developing system tomorrow. If you missed us last hour, I want to check out our conversation with a 34-year veteran of these missions. He's going to explain the critical information that forecasters get and the obvious dangers that come from flying into these powerful storms. And we're tracking multiple areas threatened by damaging storms right now, and some of these storms fueling haboobs. Just wait until you see the video coming out of Texas. And concern also increasing for potential life-threatening flash flooding. We're going to pinpoint who's at risk as we head into the weekend, even tonight. It's all next on Weather Underground.
Welcome in, everyone. It's a Friday edition of Weather Underground. So glad you could be with us. I'm Mike Bettis.
I'm Alex Wilson. It is Friday, but we are not slowing things down weather-wise. We're going to keep it going all the way into the weekend, Mike.
And beyond, and maybe even into next weekend, which a lot of people will not be happy with because we've got Memorial Day weekend next weekend.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are hoping to at least do like a backyard picnic or, socially distance on the beach, whatever they can do to, kind of feel like normal. By the way, our hurricane expert, former director of the National Hurricane Center, Dr. Knabb, is going to be in just a moment to break down 9DL. And there's your moment. Dr. Knabb, 80% chance of development over the next 5 days, but we think this could happen on the sooner side.
Yeah, and I think that's likely to happen. And whatever happens will happen in the next couple of days, because after that time, it's going to be going northeastward of North Carolina and the East Coast. So the weekend is the time frame. It's going to do what it's going to do as a tropical or maybe a hybrid system. We know we're going to get a low pressure system off the southeast coast near the northwestern Bahamas this weekend. It's just we're not sure if it's going to become a tropical or a hybrid storm, but there's an 80% chance of that happening according to the Hurricane Center, and this is the area in which that would likely happen. Now, where that X is, that's where we've currently got the center of the system, such as it is. It's the kind of the focal point of our surface trough. Let me turn on the isobars here, the lines of equal surface pressure, and you can see how they're angled this way. The flow around it is this way. So we've got our surface trough in here, and this is the beginnings of our surface low, which will probably get going up in there. So the meantime, we've got a disorganized system, not very strong, a lot of weather rotating around it, some rain left for Florida tonight and tomorrow, but I think the Northwest Bahamas are going to take the most weather out of this over the next couple of days. And then, Alex and Mike, the big question becomes, how close does this get to North Carolina on Sunday, and then what happens to it after that for next week? Lots to talk about with this system.
Yeah, we've got a lot headed your way. I want to check in on the Northeast and the severe thunderstorms moving through this part of the country right now, because we have plenty of warnings to break down. And as well, we're under a tornado watch for portions of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. So let's walk you through the warnings. You can see areas from Vermont all the way into New York State, right along 87, under a severe thunderstorm warning due to the threat of gusty winds. We are likely seeing very strong winds. We've already seen plenty of damage reports coming in elsewhere in New York State, and no sign that these winds are going to weaken as they make their way through southern Vermont into parts of New Hampshire and western Massachusetts. Earlier, we were watching this one for a tornado warning. At this point, that strong rush of wind, 60+ miles per hour possible. We'll watch. The warning was up here on that little, call it the comma head of this storm. So we'll continue to monitor these areas, but really, I want you to treat the severe thunderstorm warnings like a tornado warning, because falling trees will be such a threat moving through the next several hours. Wilmington, 7:10, the arrival of this storm for you. Brattleboro at 7:39, and then Keene at 7:52. So quickly out of Vermont and into New Hampshire. These storms have been moving around 50 miles an hour. Western Massachusetts, portions of eastern New York also under the warning. Albany, you're no longer under a severe thunderstorm warning. Some good news for you. And communities that have already seen rain and thunderstorms, like the Syracuse area. You saw the rain pick up. We've seen some thunderstorms around Elmira, not severe, but bringing very heavy rain. Northwestern PA also getting in on some heavy rain and thunderstorms, and we remain under a flash flood warning for Cleveland and the surrounding areas until 10:15 local time. Possibility of some water-covered roadways. I want you to use caution. Stay off the roads if you can this Friday night. Big picture, this is where the storms are headed. Places like New York City as we head into the overnight hours, Boston by the late evening, but you can see overall expected to weaken as they continue south and east, Mike.
All right, stormy weather for us in the middle of the country as well, Alex. We've got thunderstorms, hail, high winds, haboobs to talk about as well. Check this out. The dust being kicked up here in Lubbock. Can you see that kind of milky brown sky? We had a big outflow from a thunderstorm work its way south to north into Lubbock, and it just coated everything in dust. And I'm sure if you were driving through that, you noticed it. You're sitting at home now going, oh yeah, couldn't see anything through that. Well, let's show you meteorologically on the radar what happened. We had a ton of thunderstorms just south of Lubbock. Do you see this thin little green line pull its way north through Lubbock? That was the outflow from it. The winds down at the surface then kicked up all the dust, and that's what we saw there in the video. But those thunderstorms in particular really producing some torrential downpours right now. Some serious rains coming along with them, and it's going to clean the atmosphere for you if we can get those storms up into Lubbock, and so the dust hopefully won't be an issue. But along I-20 here, north and south, and on the highway, we've got issues. Glasscock County right now is under a severe thunderstorm warning, but also notice how much rain is falling from these storms. We've got a flash flooding that will be an ongoing issue for us. Big hail cores here, could see up to egg size hail cores here. So you're talking, in most instances, ping pong ball size to hen egg size hail here. That's going to dent your car. It's going to leave dents in your roof of your home as well. And you can see clusters of storms down near the border, clusters of storms up through Oklahoma as well. And these storms aren't moving all that much. So these storms here, I'm really concerned about the flood issues that we'll have here through Oklahoma. Take a look at the estimated rainfall from the radar here. And some pockets here, especially very near I-35, up to 3 inches of rain in just the last 3 hours. And more's coming down for us, by the way. These storms, they last through the overnight. They may fall below severe criteria, I think, here, but still heavy rain happens for us overnight and in the morning as well. So the flooding does become an ongoing issue. Very concerned here, Alex, that Victoria, a Corpus Christi, or maybe even, say, a Houston could encounter some issues here with some flooding as we go through the overnight. So a lot of different issues for us, even during the dark hours.
Yeah, we have just been drenched across the southern plains today, and we'll continue to monitor that story. It's been the opposite for southwest Florida, but not the Florida Keys. They have been soaked. You know, portions of southwest Florida dealing with fires would love to get in on some of that heavy rain. Marathon, Florida, all thanks to our Invest 90L, they crushed their previous daily rainfall record. They picked up 5.35 inches yesterday, made it the second wettest May day on record. By the way, stormy weather across South Florida has led to the temporary shutdown of COVID-19 testing centers in Miami-Dade County. Invest 90L, all eyes on this one as it brings some rainfall to portions of the Bahamas as well as South Florida. You can see Fort Lauderdale to Miami. Really, the west side of both of those areas are seeing some of the heavier showers at this point. Those thunderstorms extend over portions of Cuba as well. The very latest, this moving slowly to the east-northeast. So the area of development would be over portions of the Bahamas, off the coast of Florida. Both of these areas, Dr. Nab, are going to see the effects regardless of whether this is tropical, subtropical, or if it doesn't get a designation at all.
Yeah, and Alex, it doesn't seem fair that the area that got one of the worst hurricanes on the planet last year, the Northwest Bahamas, is going to get some of the worst weather associated with this system. It's not going to be a hurricane for them, but the Northwest Bahamas is going to get some bad weather the next couple of days. South Florida has had on again, off again, locally heavy rainfall. I'll detail that in a little bit. But just overall, the system is not yet a depression or a storm, whether tropical or hybrid. It's a sharp surface trough right through here. Got high pressure in Bermuda, and that's directing the flow around the trough straight into the east coast of Florida, and increasingly are getting onshore flow into the Carolinas. So one of the issues as the weekend goes on to keep in mind in South Carolina and North Carolina is increasing risk of rip currents at the beaches. That can be a life-threatening situation. It's been a high risk all week here on the east coast of Florida. Now, the reason it might not be fully tropical when it becomes a storm likely in the next day or two is because of this middle upper level trough that's sitting right overhead, bringing in a lot of dry air and wind shear, and that's going to make it disorganized and lopsided for a lot of its time, especially the next day or two. Now, in terms of the weather, we're still getting locally heavy rains in portions of Florida. It's very on again, off again. It's kind of spotty. The Keys are getting a break today. But very recently, it started coming down pretty heavily again in the Fort Lauderdale area. So now the Weather Service has issued a flood advisory for portions of Broward County, including Plantation and Sunrise. If you're going up and down University Drive, might want to take it a little more slowly. Could be some ponding on the roads, and some low spots could be flooding. So be very careful on the roads there. Now, the rest of the way in this event, another inch or two, broadly speaking, in southeast Florida. Most of the rain is going to fall over the Northwest Bahamas, no matter which model you look at. That's the overall story. Now, the system, as it goes northeastward this weekend, will leave the 80-degree waters, and the waters will be in the 70s. So it has some energy to tap into, but also it's got to contend with that upper-level trough. So these traveling white lines, those are the shearing winds. These solid white lines are the steering winds, and the colors are the low-level spin. Now, you see by tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening, it looks like it's going to be consolidating, but it's still going to have some upper-level winds to contend with. And then on Sunday, it will get perhaps pretty close to the east coast of the U.S. And then Monday, how close does it get to North Carolina, Mike? And then we got a big northeast mess coming, and these two systems are going to interact one way or another for a bad weather period in the mid-Atlantic and northeast.
It may go on for a week, if not longer than that, too, Dr. Nab. So not fun for a lot of people, unfortunately. Now, today's the day, okay? Things might go downhill for you after this, but boy, in D.C. and in Philadelphia, does it get any better than this? We had our warmest day of the year so far. Temperatures were in the mid-80s today and a ton of sunshine, start to finish. But your vitamin D deficiency is going to continue next week because it's going to be nothing but clouds, and for many of you, it's going to be nothing but rain. We've got an undulating upper-level jet stream here that ends up pulling in a trough here, really hugging the eastern seaboard, likely for several days. It could team up with some surface systems and produce rain and wind and clouds for a long time here. You are really going to wonder where the sun is and what happened to your 80-degree weather. Let's go through the weekend and get you into early next week. And you can see there may be hints of, 90L or Arthur or whatever it may be tangling with this trough that digs in across the east. What that means is this. Here's the result, okay? It's rain. Plenty of rain for us going into Monday. A lot of rain coming back for us then on Tuesday as well. Then it condenses a little bit as we get into midweek, really targets the mid-Atlantic. That, yes, will include D.C. and Baltimore, Philadelphia, the Delmarva here. I think the Jersey Shore ends up getting a decent amount of rain. You're stuck in the clouds even in New York, out on Long Island. This is Thursday now, and even as we go Friday and into the weekend, it could stay pretty unsettled as well, not to mention wind will come along with it. There's the wind map for many of you, just a raw, uncomfortable late May forecast, unfortunately. And Dr. Nab, a lot of people will kind of be wondering here, how much will the tropics play a role in this? What role will Invest 90L have?
Yeah, it might have a direct role. It will at least have an indirect role, and the combination of these systems, no matter what, is going to lead to some water problems in the mid-Atlantic and northeast, both at the coast and inland. Now let's watch the surface pressure and the precipitation forecast from our two main models. Follow the European model as we go through the weekend, and when we get to Monday, that's when the European model has what is or what is left of our tropical hybrid system just off the coast of North Carolina, but it's kind of attached to our big low that's inland. And they're going to be kind of interacting. Either way, you're going to have onshore flow into the northeast and a lot of moisture coming in. After that, our ex-tropical or whatever it is system is shunted off to the east, but we still have a gradient north of our non-tropical low on the east coast. So you don't need the tropical system to get fully involved in this to have the bad weather in the northeast. But that could happen. Let's look at the GFS model, how this plays out. Take it from now and go through the weekend, and we'll see how this brings our tropical or hybrid system directly near or over the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and then they work together to create that onshore flow, that strong gradient, all through next week as that non-tropical low sits over the East Coast, and by the way, brings a front down to Florida through the whole time. So either way, I think we're going to have water problems at the coast and inland. First, quickly at the coast, watch the waves that are kicked up by a combination of what could be Arthur and our non-tropical system. Look at those bright colors, high waves, and it's angled right at the East Coast of the U.S. We could have flood problems at the coast and or inland all of next week, Alex. Big-time problems in Pennsylvania. You've got big-time problems with tornado warning right now.
Yeah, we've got a new tornado warning in Vermont, looking at Windham County here on the southeast side of the state. So once again, a kink in this line of storms. You can very clearly make out that notch in Windham County. This storm is moving 55 miles an hour to the east, by the way. Very likely we're seeing some strong gusty winds, maybe even a little hail out of this storm. Area of rotation, again, does not look great. We are far away from the radar at Boston not working, but that little area of rotation just to the east of Wilmington, that'll soon be crossing 91.
You may not see them, but your itchy eyes know they're out there. Thousands of allergens in each cubic yard of air. No wonder you rub your eyes hundreds of times a day. But now, relief is just one drop away. Introducing Pataday. Full prescription strength Pataday works right in your eyes, right on the cells that make them itch. Fast. Just one drop once a day means relief that lasts all day.
So turn your day into a Pat-A-Day. Now get Pat-A-Day without a prescription. Everywhere.
Add some resistance. Sarah, your Movie Plus trial is about to expire. Do you want to continue or cancel?
Capital One knows life doesn't update you about your credit card. So meet Eno, the Capital One assistant that looks out for charges that might surprise you and helps you fix them. Another way Capital One is watching out for your money when you're not. What's in your wallet?
Buick and GMC are here to help, to keep you going through these unprecedented times. If you need a vehicle, we're offering 0% financing for up to 84 months. Plus, you may have the option to shop online and take delivery at home with Shop, Click, Drive. If you need service, our certified technicians are ready to help. You can even schedule your appointment online. Together, we'll get through these uncertain times. Buick and GMC, we're here to help.
In this time of social distancing, when taking a break from everyday life is critical to everyone's health, there is one thing we can all do together. Complete the 2020 census. Your responses are critical to plan for the next 10 years of healthcare, infrastructure, and education. Let's make a difference together by taking a few minutes to go online to 2020census.gov. It's for the well-being of your community and will help shape America's future.
Super Emma just about sleeps in her cave, but when we realized she was battling sensitive skin, we switched to new Tide Plus Downy Free. It's gentle on her skin and dermatologist recommended. New Tide Pods Plus Downy Free. Safe for sensitive skin with eczema and psoriasis.
Good morning.
More treatment.
We're going to try something different today.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Dogs bring out the good in us. Pedigree brings out the good in them.
Outsmarting a nasty Nessie with Duluth Flex Dry on the Fly pants. Step 1, locate the legend. Step 2, flex 'em. And unwet 'em. Duluth Flex Dry on the Fly pants. Make your legs legendary. Only at Duluth stores and DuluthTrading.com.
Introducing Plaza Automall's pickup and drop-off service for your vehicle. Oil change, alignment, new tires, or a brake job. Schedule us online or on the phone. We'll pick up your car and drop it off when it's done. We are here for all your service needs. Plaza Automall, Notion Avenue, Brooklyn.
You one-stop shop for your auto shop.
Now more than ever, it's super important that every New Yorker counts. The COVID-19 pandemic is affecting us all, but it's affecting our Black and brown communities the most. And the only way to get the programs and the funding that we deserve is to fill out the census. It only comes once every 10 years. It's only 10 simple questions, and by law, your information cannot be shared. There are no citizenship questions on the census, so go to my2020census.gov and get counted.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, then you owe it to yourself to call this number. Let our experts help guide you through the process of negotiating a tax settlement. Call this number or go to tax10000.com.
Everything is almost cloud-free at this point.
Plus, it's not cold at all.
We're drying out and even warming up.
We love it that way.
Better days start with the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy with occasional light rain, low 64. Winds west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Saturday, sunshine and clouds mixed, high 76. Winds north at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday night, a few clouds from time to time, low 55. Winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
As Some new video coming in to us here at the Weather Channel for you. You are looking at those thunderstorms over Skinny Atlas, New York, on the west side of Syracuse. You can see the inflow into that storm. How cool. We have seen some really severe weather across sections of New York today. Plenty of wind damage reports. Now, we've been under a tornado watch, so, scenes like this always kind of nerve-wracking, but a lot of the danger today has been the wind, and that remains. We do, however, have a tornado warned storm across southern Vermont right now, but take a look from areas north of Rutland all the way down through New Hampshire and into New York State. We are lined up with severe thunderstorm warnings. So gusty, damaging winds remain the #1 threat this evening. Here's our tornado warning. So we're looking at communities to the east and northeast of Marlborough. This storm is moving very quickly, as are all the storms. They're moving about 50 to 55 miles per hour. It's Windham County under the warning, and we've got some heavy rain along with this. So heavy rain, gusty winds could promote falling trees, unfortunately. That's going to be a danger that continues into parts of southern New Hampshire. We've got it in western Massachusetts. So regardless of whether you're under a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning, I want you to get into that lowest level, most interior room, because trees falling on homes are going to continue to be a threat over the next few hours as these storms eventually begin to weaken. Now, we look into parts of Texas, the southern plains, and look at all these storms. These are headed south. These are moving off towards the north and west. These are slowly drifting east. These headed to the northeast. So all kind of heading in the same direction. We've got like a ring of thunderstorms, plenty of warnings because of hail, but a lot of these warnings are also accompanied by flash flood warnings because, Mike, these storms are moving nowhere quickly. They are like my dog. They are not in a hurry. They are taking their time, but unfortunately dumping a lot of rain.
Yeah.
He's never in a hurry.
It's gonna be rough. Raining cats and dogs for a lot of folks, unfortunately. That's the problem for us here. And it's gonna potentially be very, very dangerous for folks. So just be careful, all right? We know the place like Pasadena. This is the Houston metro area. We've had a ton of rain here. Look what it's done to the roadways. Cars that are trying to wade through that. Be careful, folks. Sometimes you just do not know how deep that water is. And you don't even know in some instances if there's even a road underneath there. It could be washed out. So take extra precautions. If you can just be home tonight, tonight's a good night to be home. Dr. Nad, the setup allows us to stay very wet here for the next couple of days. And I'm really concerned about what some of the nighttime hours may bring. Tonight, for instance, could be a dangerous night.
Yeah, just starting with tonight into tomorrow morning could be very dangerous in Texas. Now, Alex was showing you kind of the invasion in Texas from all directions, and including southeast Texas where Pasadena is in the Houston area. But watch how this plays out overnight tonight, and I'll get you to the warnings here in a little bit. The western complex tends to dominate, and then Dallas and San Antonio, Austin could be getting it overnight. But then that's back into Houston by early tomorrow morning, even before the sun comes up. And it could rain for a substantial amount of time between Houston and Galveston over into Beaumont, Port Arthur. So that area has been getting a lot of rain and flooding, and more is to come overnight tonight. So now let's look at all of this problem in Oklahoma and Texas. We've also got issues from Cleveland eastward into New York. Let's first go down to the Houston area. We've got flash flood and flood warnings all over the place, but in southeast Texas, we got 2 warnings currently in effect, and I wanted to highlight what's been happening in Pasadena. You saw the pictures. Here are some of the specific reports. Northwest of Pasadena, main lines of State Road 225 covered by water at Ritchie Street. In Deer Park a little while ago, high water, vehicles stranded, Spencer Highway at Beltway 8. And then southeast of there, in the Olago area, we've got water covering roads coming into yards in the Seabrook neighborhood, and it's down in that area near League City where we've got a warning that's in effect till 7:45 local time, and it's still coming down with the dangerous lightning along I-45 headed to Galveston. Southwest of Houston in the Sugar Land area, the rain has lessened, but we've still got the warning until 6:30 local time. Look what happened earlier, not all that long ago in the First Colony area. Water knee to waist deep at Dulles and Cartwright and Sugar Land, and we had flooded roads with vehicles stranded, First Colony Mall. So that's what's happening with those rains in Houston. More's coming tomorrow morning. Stay off the roads. Now, you've also got a stay off the roads warning here in the Cleveland area. Look at what the reports have been showing us. I told you about the 2 vehicles trapped due to flooding on near Highway near 130th Street and I-480. That was a water rescue. North Ridgeville had a car submerged in several feet of water. My goodness. So Houston and Cleveland, more heavy rains and flash flooding coming this weekend. Alex, we still got a lot of severe weather to deal with tonight.
Yeah, 2 active tornado warnings to tell you about up into the northeast. We've got this one near Poughkeepsie. This does include Poughkeepsie, the north side of town as well. So this on the tail end of our line of strong wind producing storms. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning for this as well, but it's Ulster County under the warning until 7:45. You can see a good look at that area of rotation there. This is just to the north of Accord, and like the others, this storm is moving to the east. So Rosendale, you would be up next in the path of this storm. We'll time it out for you. Bruceville actually at 7:36, 7:43 in Rosendale. We'll get you back to Vermont as well, where we've got a tornado warning. First time since 2016 we've had a tornado warning in that state.
And we've upgraded her with the Sonic Shield and holographic mapping drones.
Impressive.
There is one more thing.
Jake from State Farm.
Here's the deal. With the Drive Safe and Save app, you'll save up to 30% for being a safe driver and get a discount just for signing up.
Well played, Jake from State Farm. As usual.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now there's Skyrizi.
Things are getting clearer. Yeah, I feel free to bare my skin. Yeah, that's on me. Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin. That's my new plan. Nothing is everything.
Keep your skin clearer with Skyrizi. 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. Of those, nearly 9 out of 10 sustained it through 1 year. And Skyrizi is 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
I see nothing in a different way. And it's my moment, so I just gotta say. Nothing is everything.
Skyrizi may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or coughs, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine. Ask your dermatologist about Skyrizi.
Clean is a feeling. It's the simple joy of washing your hands without ever touching a faucet. It's the little things that matter. That's why we create moments to feel Kohler clean every day.
Frustrated that clean clothes you want to wear always seem to need an iron?
Next time, try Bounce Wrinkle Guard dryer sheets.
Just toss it in the dryer to bounce out wrinkles. We dried these shorts with Bounce Wrinkle Guard and a pair without. The Bounce Wrinkle Guard shorts have fewer wrinkles and static and more softness. It's the world's first mega sheet that does the job of 3 dryer sheets. It also comes in unscented. If you don't love Bounce Wrinkle Guard, we'll give you your money back.
Managing type 2 diabetes? You're on it. Exercising often and eating healthy? Yep, on it there too. You may think you're doing all you can to manage type 2 diabetes and heart disease. But could your medication do more to lower your heart risk? Jardiance can reduce the risk of cardiovascular death for adults who also have known heart disease, so it could help save your life from a heart attack or stroke. And it lowers A1C.
Jardiance can cause serious side effects, including dehydration, genital yeast or urinary tract infections, and sudden kidney problems. Ketoacidosis is a serious side effect that may be fatal. A rare but life-threatening bacterial infection in the skin of the perineum could occur. Stop taking Jardiance and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of this bacterial infection, ketoacidosis, or an allergic reaction. And don't take it if you're on dialysis or have severe kidney problems. Taking Jardiance with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar,
lower A1C, and lower risk of a fatal heart attack?
On it with Jardiance.
Ask your doctor about Jardiance.
Hi, I'm Lolly, a Domino's franchisee.
As you can see, we're open and working hard to safely keep putting food on people's tables.
And we could use your help doing that.
If getting some full or part-time work during these tough times could help you,
Domino's is hiring.
Head to jobs.domino's.com
and apply today. Because we're not only committed to putting food on people's tables,
we're committed to helping you put food on your table.
Local Now is here for you.
Hi, New York.
Hey, LA.
Chicago.
Hey, America.
2 tablespoons of sugar.
Something for everyone. Local now and streaming now. Join Billy Crystal, Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish, and a once-in-a-lifetime all-star lineup of comedians to benefit Feeding America. Byron Allen presents the Feeding America Comedy Festival. Streaming now on Local Now. Download for free in your favorite app store.
Well, welcome back into Weather Underground. We've got a busy night of severe weather, particularly into the Northeast and the Southern Plains. We start in the Northeast, where we've got an active tornado warning, active tornado watch, I should start with, across sections of New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. Our Western watch until 10 o'clock local time. We've seen some of the outskirts of Boston included in this tornado watch, but Boston proper not under the watch, but Hartford, Connecticut, you are included. We've got the line of thunderstorms moving from portions of Vermont and New Hampshire all the way down into the Hudson Valley there in New York. Poughkeepsie, communities to your west and northwest under a tornado warning. It's Ulster County until 7:45 local time. This is about to cross over the highway there on the south side of Olive. So looking at this area of rotation, moving off towards the east, eventually soon enough crossing over 87. So if you know somebody who may be traveling that route, let them know that this storm is headed their way. And you can see got a severe thunderstorm warning for the storm as well, because gusty winds really the threat. So up here in Hamden and Hampshire County in Massachusetts, I want you to be in your lowest level, most interior room. We have seen some very strong winds already out of the storms, reports of wind damage, and trees could continue to fall. So also not a good time to be out on the roads. We don't want to see those trees falling into vehicles. Storms now moving out of Vermont. Earlier, we had a tornado warning, first since 2016 for that state. Cheshire and Sullivan County now under a severe thunderstorm warning as that overall storm and the strong winds that accompany it move into parts of southern New Hampshire. Eventually, that'll be headed towards Concord and Manchester, neither under the warning now. But you can see these storms are moving quickly, around 50, 55 miles an hour. So soon enough, we'll see those areas in the path of this storm. Got a new warning here into the northern part of Pennsylvania. You can see that little bow echo, the backward C shape in that storm. So likely bringing some strong gusty winds. This is Potter County, Coudersport, Eulalia, and Gailton under this warning until 8 o'clock local time. And as Dr. Knapp has been mentioning, flooding problems continue around the Cleveland metro area. So for Cleveland and its suburbs, as heavy rain has been persistent, finally beginning to see some of that edge off towards the east of town. But we remain under that flash flood warning until 10:15 local time. Big picture and the future radar show these storms continue to move off towards the east as we head into the late evening. A place like Boston around 9, 10 o'clock. Think weakening as they make their way closer to New York City, and a place like Philadelphia into the early morning hours of your Saturday, Mike.
All kinds of issues there, Alex. All kinds of issues for us across the southern plains as well. We have big-time storms that are producing some really large hail, some flooding rain there as well. This is a look at Houston right now, where I actually see maybe there's a little bit of sun in the horizon that's glistening off the buildings there, but it has been wet for us, to say the least, especially south and west side of town, and still raining for us right now. Downtown, not necessarily as bad, but you're going to get another round, I think, that comes in overnight tonight. You can see where the storms are right now. League City down toward Galveston, really heavy storms here, producing some flash flooding. We've had big issues on the west side of town and along the Katy Freeway as well. Flash flood warning in Galveston and Harris counties continues until 7:45 this evening. All right, let's talk a little bit more about what's going to happen with this rain, because you look at how much rain has fallen for us here. Some places 3 to 5 inches of rain at this point has come down for us. So just be aware that plenty more is still to come for us here, and it may be a couple of different rounds too. So what that means is this evening, overnight, and tomorrow morning, you're going to have problems. You take a look at the satellite here, and you can see that it just blew up with these storms. But for many of you, what you're going to encounter here for the remainder of the evening is heavier showers and downpours that come down for you here. So just be aware that there are going to be plenty of issues for us here that extend up towards, say, the I-20 corridor as well, Midland over toward Big Spring. Same thing, 3 to 5 inches of rain has come down for us here, and we're going to have problems that could extend up toward Lubbock. We already had a big dust storm or boom that came through with that outflow. You can see that line that's now racing up I-27 here. But big rain south of there and over toward Guthrie, and that extends over toward Childress and then, say, Lawton, Oklahoma as well. Look what's going on in Oklahoma, by the way. Tough times for us right now. Numerous areas where we have severe thunderstorm warnings, or we have flash flood warnings, or we have both at the same time. And now storms starting to fire here across maybe like a Paris or a Lufkin and through the Arklatex here. And we have, I think, two converging lines of storms here. So it could get very rough between, say, Shreveport and Texarkana tonight as those storms come together, and flooding will be an issue there. You can see how the storms hold together through the overnight. I don't necessarily think we'll have a lot of severe storms overnight. I think that criteria will come down, but they'll all be producing heavy amounts of rain, unfortunately, Alex. So just concerns abundant here across the southern plains.
Yeah, and then we're also watching the tropics coming up. We're going to check in with Dr. Nab on Invest 90L, what it brings to Florida, the Bahamas, and other parts of the U.S. possibly.
These days, it's anything but business as usual. That's why working together is more important than ever. AT&T is committed to keeping you connected so you can keep your patients cared for, your customers served, your students inspired, and your employees closer than ever. Our network is resilient. Our people are strong. Our job is to keep your business connected. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do.
How would you like to know the dirtiest secret on the whole train?
Everything on Mr. Wolford's train is connected.
A murder could upset the entire ecosystem.
Our fortunes built this train, and Mr. Wolford is losing control. Wolford wants us solved quickly.
There's way more to this than you're saying.
Mr. Wolford assures you justice will prevail.
Snowpiercer, all new Sundays at 9 on TNT, and anytime on demand and on the app.
Local Now is here for you.
Hi, New York. Hey, LA. Chicago. Hey, America.
2 tablespoons of sugar.
Something for everyone. Local Now. Download for free in your favorite app store.
With Dish, you get the Hopper. It lets you record up to 16 shows at once.
See you in the morning. Okay, bye, sounds great.
Because more shows can help you make the most of the perfect girls' night in.
Dish, tuned in to you.
I'm Jimmy Dean, and we know there is no shortcut to quality. And that's why we use nothing but the very best sausage that money can buy. Paint yourself a beautiful morning.
This is one. So is this. And so are these. But no matter the shape, square footage, or who might live in them, they all represent something more. A sanctuary. A refuge. The feeling of home. That's why we're here. At Lowe's, we believe everyone deserves that feeling. To help make your home be everything you want it to be. Because home is what unites us.
For every staircase supporting a grand entrance, door frames marking milestones, and floors kissed by bare feet, protect the pure joy of home with Terminix. We're committed to keeping termites out of your home with our all-new On Guard termite protection system. Always backed by the Terminix promise to keep your home strong enough for all the love it holds. Call 1-800-TERMINIX today.
Buick and GMC are here to help, to keep you going through these unprecedented times. If you need a vehicle, we're offering 0% financing for up to 84 months. Plus, you may have the option to shop online and take delivery at home with Shop, Click, Drive. If you need service, our certified technicians are ready to help. You can even schedule your appointment online. Together, we'll get through these uncertain times. Buick and GMC, we're here to help.
Oh, it's a beautiful day. Oh, I never felt this way before. Give me some more.
Is that coming this way?
Oh my God.
Don't miss all new episodes of World's Deadliest Weather at 8 and Deadline to Disaster at 9. Sunday nights, only on the Weather Channel.
Well, the weather, a beautiful but destructive force that kills thousands of people each year. And in our new show, World's Deadliest Weather, we hear the stories from people who came face to face with death and live to talk about it. This Sunday, I want you to meet a couple whose lives are turned upside down when a traffic jam turns into a race to outrun a tornado. Here's a preview.
A piercing tornado siren is warning residents that a storm is on its way. As the roads start getting busier with early evening traffic, trouble is brewing overhead.
Speed up! Get out of here!
Brandon was having a really hard time holding us in one lane because the wind was so bad and it was just blowing that camper, side to side. So he was just trying to stay straight and not hit any other cars.
Savannah and Brandon are moments away from potential catastrophe.
Brandon, I'm scared!
We just kind of were taken side to side by the wind, and then it felt like we were almost grabbed and just pulled.
Brandon's scared!
And that's when we were pulled off the ground.
Brandon, we're gonna die. I love you.
I just remember for the first time ever thinking, like, it's really bad. Like, we may not make it out of this.
Well, that is an all-new World's Deadliest Weather. You can catch it this Sunday, 8/7 Central. Mike?
All right, well, we know we've got some issues across Florida, right? We've got Invest 90L that we're watching. We've had rain and wind and flooding, unfortunately. How about Hialeah Highway here? I can show you what's going on here. You want to be off of it. Rain coming down so fast and furious that this is what drivers were encountering. Now, I see a decent amount of traffic there. Maybe the good news is that traffic generally the last couple of months has been lighter than usual, but please be careful. Got to watch your speed. Anytime your tires throw up water like that, means you're probably going too fast for the conditions. There's too much water on the roadways. You risk that risk of your tires not being in contact with the roadway anymore. Dr. Nab, 90L is not going to help matters at all because we could expect some more heavy downpours across portions of Florida.
And we're still getting that this evening. I'll show you what's going on in Fort Lauderdale, Broward County area in South Florida in just a moment with some more heavy rain. The overall system is still a surface trough. Will become a low over the northwest Bahamas by tomorrow and then go northeastward from there. 8 out of 10 shot of that low becoming a tropical or a hybrid, a subtropical depression or storm. And that's where that would happen over the next couple of days. After that, it'll be farther off to the northeast. So this is going to happen over the weekend. Now, it looks kind of interesting on satellite, doesn't it? It's got a comma shape to it. But if you put on the isobars with this, you see it's a sharp surface trough oriented like this, and that's the flow around it. This is what will become our surface low, and the weather is mostly on the north and east side of that trough, and the onshore flow into the east coast of Florida, high risk of rip currents. We've had that problem all week. That hazard will extend into Georgia and the Carolinas as the weekend goes on. The non-tropical, the hybrid part of this is our middle upper level trough right overhead, dry air, wind shear, hindering the development. This is not a purely tropical kind of situation, but we've got some tropical downpours happening over South Florida, and Broward County's been getting some heavy rain recently. It's been coming from east to west, across Fort Lauderdale, then across Plantation, now over Sunrise in the Sawgrass Mills area. Weston getting some heavy downpours. You're under a flood advisory. You don't want to drive over those water-covered roads. 2 inches per hour coming down. We might get a little bit more of that over the next couple of days, but then, Mike, we got to watch for this system to maybe come near or over the Outer Banks when we get to about Sunday night into Monday.
Yes, I don't think it's maybe just a Florida issue. It could be an issue up through the Mid-Atlantic. Good stuff there, Dr. Nab. All this week here on the Weather Channel, we have been discussing what we should be doing in preparation for hurricane season when it comes to the supplies that you have on hand, when it comes to evacuation and knowing where to go and especially how to do that in light of the pandemic that's going on right now. Dr. Nab, your final thoughts on this Friday night about what people should have taken away from this week in particular.
You got to work together. Nobody can get ready for hurricane season for yourself, for your family, all by yourself. Now, if you are one of the more fortunate ones in our society, you have the means and you can get your family ready pretty much on your own, then the very next step, Mike, is to find somebody that you can help. Now, let's take evacuation for an example. Everybody needs help with evacuation, whether it is that you need to evacuate, you need a destination, or if you're not in an evacuation zone, you can be the evacuation destination for somebody who is. And that's so important during the pandemic to work together on evacuation so that we don't use the shelters or the hotels as much and we can maintain more social distancing.
And the ultimate thing here, and you've said this many times, Dr. Knapp, is you don't have to evacuate a state or two away. You just have to evacuate out of harm's way.
That's right. Go as short a distance as you can. Find a nearby friend or family member. And again, if you're not in one of these zones, reach out to somebody who might need to evacuate and make it a shorter distance, less cost, easier for them to evacuate. And everybody's got to have those supplies, the masks, the sanitizer, anything you can do to lessen the spread of the virus. And then just find a friend or family member who's in need, buy them supplies, help them any way you can.
Yeah. All is about being prepared, thinking right now what you could do. The hurricane season starts, by the way, in just 17 short days. Weather Under going to be back right after this.
At Domino's, we think you and your oven could use a break. Ours are running at 450 degrees, and your pizza stays untouched from here to your table. Use contactless carryout to get 3-topping pizzas on any of Domino's 5 crusts for just $7.99 each.
If you hit rewind on the best paint jobs, you'd see that they all start the same way. With Scotch Painter's Tapes. Scotch brand has a full line of painter's tapes to help conquer whatever surface you're painting. The best paint jobs start with Scotch.
This is not a time for business as usual. Or is it? What if business as usual means putting people first and understanding their needs? If that's your business 365 days of every year, then business as usual is precisely what these times require. Which is why your Lexus dealer will do what we've always done. Put you first. Find out how we can service your individual needs at lexus.com/people first.
You want a fresh-smelling home, but some air fresheners use heavy, overwhelming scents. Try Febreze One, a range of innovative air fresheners with no heavy perfumes that you can feel good about using in your home to deliver a light, natural-smelling freshness. Febreze One neutralizes stale, stuffy odors and releases a subtle hint of fragrance, like bamboo or lavender and eucalyptus. To eliminate odors with no heavy perfumes, try Febreze One. Brand power helping you buy better.
The story of the Kind Mini. We took the full-size bar and cut it in half. So the next time it's 3 o'clock and you want some delicious dark chocolate, grab a dark chocolate nuts and sea salt mini with whole almonds and just 90 calories. It's a kinder way to satisfy.
Real people are realizing there's a better way to mobile.
My carrier probably has a lot of fees I don't even know are there. Basic phone line access, federal universal service charge, I don't even know what that is. Why am I paying these fees?
At Spectrum Mobile, there are no added taxes and fees. What you see is what you pay. $45 a line with our unlimited data plan or $14 a gig with our Buy the Gig plan.
The calculator said that we would save $600 a year. We've actually saved $612 in half a year.
With Spectrum Mobile, I'm saving over $350 a year.
$650 a year.
It's true. Most customers could see a savings of over $600 a year. Don't wait. Find your savings at SpectrumMobile.com or call 844-258-8115. And get it all with free nationwide talk and text and no contracts.
I'm ready to switch.
Get more for less with our unlimited data plan for $45 a line or our Buy the Gig plan for $14 a gig. Plus, get the flexibility to mix and match plans. Visit a Spectrum store. Go to SpectrumMobile.com or call 844-258-8115.
Tomorrow, a once-in-a-lifetime all-star lineup of laughs. Billy Crystal, Whoopi Goldberg, Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Hart, Howie Mandel, Kenan Thompson, and more of America's funniest comedians for the Feeding America Comedy Festival.
Join us for a night of comedy to help raise money for communities in need across America, just like you do every season with us here at the Weather Channel.
Byron Allen presents the Feeding America Comedy Festival. Tomorrow at 6/5 Central, here on the Weather Channel, and streaming on Local Now.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under fair skies. Tonight, cloudy with occasional light rain. Low 64. Winds west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Saturday, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 76. Winds north at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday night, a few clouds from time to time. Low 55. Winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Well, we continue to monitor severe weather moving through sections of New England this evening. Strong thunderstorms and a tornado warning here in southern sections of New Hampshire. This storm right along the state line with Massachusetts. So looking at areas on the southeast side of Keene, you see this little kink in the line, this little bulge in the line in Cheshire and Hillsborough County. This would be the area that we'd be looking at a possible tornado. Our area of rotation just to the west of New Ipswich. These storms have been moving really quickly, around 50 to 55 miles an hour, and that speed will continue. Now, Nashua under a severe thunderstorm, or just outside the severe thunderstorm warning, I should say, but in the path of this storm, so we'll watch that and see if that's extended. But you can see up and down this line, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings back to back to back because of the threat of very strong winds. We've seen plenty of reports in this line's history through parts of New York State, and we anticipate that wind damage could continue here into New England. So down trees, very likely. Franklin, Hampshire, and Worcester counties under a warning until 8:30. Farther down the line, we're looking at portions of northwest Connecticut, even a little bit of New York State still under warnings, Mike.
Very intense line of storms there, and we know the weather could get more intense across Florida because of Invest 90L, and the hurricane hunters are slated for a flight early tomorrow morning, 4:30 a.m. The Air Force hurricane hunters are scheduled to take off. That is technically plane Teal 72, seeing if they can find a closed center of circulation. We're very lucky to be joined by retired hurricane hunter Terry Lynch. He's joining us from St. Petersburg this evening. Terry, thanks so much for being with us. Want to ask you specifically about systems like 90L. How difficult are missions like this? I feel like it's kind of like an Easter egg hunt. You know what you're looking for, but you don't exactly know where it is.
And that's very true. I do need to start off. My area of expertise is electronics and systems and instrumentation. I am not a meteorologist. I've worked with them for over 3 decades. And I've learned a little bit on the job. But so just to, I do not have expertise in that area. But as far as, these Invest systems, when we do get asked to fly them, they are some of the hardest ones to find. The easiest storm, the hurricane hunters, the easiest storm to hunt is a well-defined storm with a well-defined eye. These nebulous blobs are very hard to find and locate and close the circulation, so to speak.
And Terry, how has it been in the last few months, whether it's with training flights or with winter storms or on the base, dealing with COVID-19 with all your colleagues?
Yeah, so NOAA, I work for the NOAA Hurricane Hunters, or used to, retired now, and they're under the Department of Commerce, and the Department of Commerce went into a mandatory telework situation because of the pandemic, and because of that, we have all been teleworking and maintaining online training and planning and things like that up until just a few weeks ago. And, at some point, yes, we need to get people in the hangar, actually touching the airplanes. The maintenance crews have had to go in there, and the pilots and the flight crews need proficiency training and currency, as well as the air crews. Personally, my role was an air crew member in the back of the airplane, working again with the sensors and computers, and everybody needs to stay current. So that process is just now happening. Just yesterday, for instance, Miss Piggy, N43 RF, went on a shakedown instrumentation check flight. And from what I understand, it was successful. So that's all part of the normal process that we would do any time this year in getting the planes ready for a June 1st start of the hurricane season.
Hey, Terry, in your expertise with electronics, tell us what has changed. What kind of technology has changed over the years in the Hurricane Hunter aircraft?
Oh, that's one thing. There's been phenomenal leaps and bounds. You know, when I first started, we had very old mainframe type computers, mini computers we called them, and yet they are every bit of 300 pounds for a quote mini computer. And they had paper tape memory, and you know, so leaps and bounds as far as the technology. And one of the cool things, one of the things that I take a lot of satisfaction in is the actual sensor development, the step frequency microwave radiometer, for instance. I'm sure you and your listeners are very familiar with. When I first showed up at NOAA AOC in 1986, it was a science project from the University of Massachusetts, and now it's a don't leave home without it type instrument. So NOAA has been a big part in developing these instruments and getting them ready for prime time.
Well, retired Hurricane Hunter Terry Lynch, thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for all your years of service.
And we continue to track severe weather in the Northeast, including a tornado-warned storm in southern New Hampshire. This tornado warning right along the Massachusetts state line, Cheshire and Hillsborough counties.
I wanted my hepatitis C gone.
I put off treating mine.
Epclusa treats all main types of chronic hep C. Whatever your type, Epclusa could be your kind of cure.
I just found out about mine.
I knew for years. Epclusa has a 98% overall cure rate.
I had no symptoms of hepatitis C.
Mine caused liver damage.
Epclusa is only one pill, once a day, taken with or without food for 12 weeks. Before starting Epclusa, your doctor will test if you have had hepatitis B, which may flare up and could cause serious liver problems during and after treatment. Tell your doctor if you have had hepatitis B, other liver or kidney problems, HIV or other medical conditions, and all medicines you take, including herbal supplements. Taking amiodarone with Epclusa may cause a serious slowing of your heart rate. Common side effects include headache and tiredness. Ask your doctor today if Epclusa is your kind of cure.
Motorcycle riders love the open road, and Geico loves helping riders get to where they're going. So to help even more, Geico is giving new and current customers a 15% credit on their motorcycle policies with the Geico Give Back. And because we're committed for the long haul, the credit lasts your full policy term. The Geico Give Back, helping riders focus on the road ahead.
What average underwear feels like. What Duluth Buck Naked underwear feels like. Duluth Trading Buck Naked underwear. Get the most comfortable underwear there is. Only at Duluth stores and DuluthTrading.com.
It's starting to happen every day. People are surprising themselves the moment they realize they can do more with less asthma. Thanks to Dupixent, the add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma. Dupixent isn't for sudden breathing problems. It can improve lung function for better breathing in as little as 2 weeks and help prevent severe asthma attacks. It's not a steroid, but can help reduce or eliminate oral steroids. Don't use if allergic to Dupixent. Serious allergic reactions can occur, including anaphylaxis, which is severe. Tell your doctor right away about signs of inflamed blood vessels such as rash, shortness of breath, chest pain, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection and before stopping any asthma medicines, including oral steroids. Do more with less asthma. Talk to your doctor about Dupixent.
Well, we continue to monitor severe weather moving through sections of New England right now. Very gusty winds likely, so the threat is there for falling trees. Please take these warnings seriously, and I would avoid travel right now across the area. Southern New Hampshire, that's where we are under a tornado warning. It's Cheshire and Hillsborough County there in the southern part of the state of New Hampshire. This storm, like the others, moving around 50 to 55 miles per hour. So these storms are very, very fast moving. movers. You can see those warnings extend from central or east central sections of New Hampshire all the way down into portions of New York State. Let's get this moving, see if we can get a closer look at that storm there into the state of Vermont. Again, Cheshire, Hillsborough County. We've got Jaffrey, Peterborough, and Rindge in the path of this one. It's just to the east of 202. Areas on the west side of Nashua under a severe thunderstorm warning. Our storm specialist, Carl Parker, he is here. He's going to be updating you on these storms throughout the evening.